crazy bullshit to get up to.
What's going on with the ribbons on these? They're freaking out, man.
The ribbons? Don't worry about the ribbons. Alright, there we are. Perfect. Welcome back, everybody. Having finished session 0, I believe that this Wednesday group is good to get into some D&D. And we'll do our session 1 here. One of us is currently en road and will not be able to do stuff in tabletop, so there might be some mild delays and things like that. Sorry about being late. Some people were doing some things. Who knows?
Sorry.
And some of you watching stream might notice that there's a couple things missing, like the dice cam and my cam as well. Those are coming back. I'm just waiting for some stuff in the mail. Hopefully I'll have those by the time that the next little round of sessions comes around. But for now, this is what we've got, and we're ready to kick to it. Everyone should have their characters at the ready. I do have a couple of questions for you guys, however, as we start things off, since you're going to be beginning as a group. So we'll get right into that. So, your group has come together primarily to finish an expedition, which is being led by your party member, what was it, Tom Jack, I believe?
Tidge.
Yes, his official name is... It's Tom Jack, is it not?
Correct.
Okay.
Scottish. Highland bastards.
So, Tidge, you have recently, or perhaps not like too recently, but in the recent past, you've taken on a warlock contract with a celestial being, and if I'm not mistaken, the last time that we were doing this, we didn't talk about him having a name or anything, right?
Correct.
Okay. I want you to get out your sheet and
Okay.
write down that the moniker that he goes by is High Librarian. And the High Librarian is a figure that appears to you as an angel when he does show up. He usually has a bundle of scrolls or books in his hands, and the rest of his form is like a glowing, angelic, white-robed male with a set of huge wings that expand out. But you can never really quite stare at him, because it's kind of like looking at the sun. Like, it's too bright. He has sent you on a mission, and given you a clue to a book that he wants you to go and get, and the fate of your father's life kind of hangs in the balance here as he's fallen ill. You've traveled across the land, getting very close to your quarry, and landing in Ilos here have picked up a bunch of people to go on this expedition for you. Their stories are as follows. One of you, there we are, Orillo, is a Goliath from the mountains nearby who has signed on to navigate the way through the mountains here, as there are no actual roads, and tracking over to that nearby ruin that you're headed for would be incredibly difficult without some local help. So you've managed to bring him on. Orillo, I would like to ask both you and Tidge here, what would you guys have agreed upon to get you to sign on to this mission? Would it be like promise of coin, or maybe is there like a favor, like you guys knew each other before, or what's going on? Why would you sign on for this thing? It's obviously dangerous.
I signed up. God damn it! I already messed up.
It's all good.
You're searching for shrines, correct? You're looking
Yes.
for the ancient shrines? Well, I'd say that our tendencies kind of align, and that I can help you out with that, as long as you help me out with this.
I will. I will help you out.
Okay. So, what shrines specifically are you looking for?
I am looking for the desert and the tundra shrines, so I can learn more of my Storm Herald ways.
Ah, okay. There we go. So, you're hoping that after this expedition, that you guys will take care of a sort of side quest almost. These shrines that you want to visit. Over in the Zarens, there's an incredible expanse of desert, and way up towards the north, there's some tundras as well. And your people have taught you that to excel and to increase your powers, you'll have to visit both of these shrines in pilgrimage. And so you've decided to sign on with an expedition group to further your chances of survival. As in the world of Skyfall 2.0 here, the wild is even more dangerous than it was before. Now, there's a couple of other people that you've picked up, Tidge. You've also grabbed the help of a paladin who seems to be here in Ilos, and he's got some of his own stuff going on. Secretly, Edgar, your paladin here, is on a quest of redemption, almost after a semi-imposed self-exile here. I want to know why exactly, Edgar, would you go along with this expedition here? Is this kind of something to do, or a way to prove yourself? Like, what's going on?
Well, after losing my oath and my religion, I would have gotten some kind of divine inspiration to actually discover the meaning of the oath of redemption and what it means to attempt to solve problems without violence, which is what I was trained to do since the beginning.
Table
Probably.
talk, do you have a god in mind, or do you want me to give you some sort of entity which is
Oh,
contacting you?
I have a god in mind 100%. My god is Metri, and my breaking of my word and my oath would have been seen as a huge offense to him.
You would have had a dream in which Metri would have approached you, during which your form would be completely removed, almost like you're just a viewpoint floating around in space, and the space you would be going through would be like a white void, like a plane of limbo almost. And in this plane there would be gray chains traveling from one end so far away that you can't see where it begins, all the way to another end, and these chains would go everywhere, seemingly without reason, like a haphazard spiderweb. And you would eventually zoom over to one to see like cracks start to form in the chain, and you would hear Metri's voice telling you that this is your chain and you need to fix things, and then you would watch it break, and that's how he would have told you. That would start you on the flip from one type of paladin to this other oath.
Okay. And I would have probably seized the opportunity when Tidge came along, a religious man himself, on a quest. And I would have known that I could not find the solution to my problems inside of a monastery, but outside of them. So I would have gone of my own volition, with nothing being requested or exchanged as a cost for my services, merely to tag along.
So this is quite fortunate for you, Tidge. You found somebody on a religious quest whose motives align, and he seems like a stalwart and trustworthy fellow too, which is sometimes difficult to find. You know, getting proper help randomly is not something that happens often. You guys have spoken about this expedition already, and to further that you're doing the right thing, you had come to this agreement a day ago, as Tidge has been in town for a little bit now. And that night, this reoccurring dream with the chains did not happen. So you've been given a brief moment of reprieve and this indication that you're actually stepping in the right direction. So Metri is watching you and seems to be okay with this. Now, there's two other people whose stories are somewhat entwined. Annabelle and Kalik. You guys are coming along as well.
Kalik!
Hey! Let me put... Wait, hold on. Brackets pronounced Kalik.
Can we really do Kalik? Can you just say Kalik from now on? I really appreciate it.
No, I adjusted the page. Kalik and Annabelle, you guys are going along here too, and if I remember correctly, Annabelle, your parents are of ill repute and are the thieving sort, and have kind of bounced around, and so you've had a tumultuous and excitable childhood, but eventually have found work here in Ilos, running one of the few taverns, and have kind of found a couple of friends and settled down a little bit. And one of your friends that you've run into is this guy who goes by the name of Kalik, who lives in like a small archive. It's like a very minute library, and the two of you have become quite close over the last few years. But he's incredibly cloistered and is, he's not completely removed from the world, but he's basically been chained to this place and has not been able to leave. And recently that place has burned down. Thankfully, Kalik survived the blaze and the city is dealing with it. But you've told him that this is a perfect opportunity to step away from that old life and to go on an adventure. Is that about right?
Yep.
Now, with that in mind, I would say that Kalik is kind of falling in tow for you, Annabelle. So I would put you in the driver's seat for deciding what it is that you're getting out of going on this expedition. So between you and Tidge, is this an arrangement where you're offering your services free of charge, or has some sort of agreement come about between the two of you?
I'm gonna go with probably like free of charge, because my goal in life is to develop standing friendship with another race other than a tiefling, or half tiefling, I should say.
So you saw a gnome who was nice enough going on an adventure, thought these two things lined up, and you offered, and he took that offer.
Yeah.
Okay. Tidge, I'd like to ask, what do you think of Annabelle and Kalik coming along for this journey?
I'm all for it. I'm
Okay.
for anybody who'll join me on my crazy suicide missions.
Perfect. So, with that already done here, the last thing I have to ask is, from here on out, how much time do we have as a group, table talk?
Oh,
I know some people are
16
late, some
hours.
people... 16 hours? Okay.
6. I have 5 max.
5 max? Okay.
Yeah, 4 at least, so yeah, 5 would be fine.
At least 4.
yeah, I have until 6 a.m.
We'll probably play for another 3.5 to 4 hours then. Alright, that works. Let me write that down.
I should be gone before then.
Depending on what happens. Perfect. Okay. So, speaking of which, if you need to pause in the car or whatever, or if something comes up, maybe that's when we'll do our break or whatever, so just let us know.
Yeah, I have to pick up a fur baby, so I'll tell you when we're close.
Cool. So, at this point in our story, you guys have all agreed to meet up and are about to go on this little trek, but you're in different parts throughout the town. Kalik, I would say that you're currently staying in the tavern with Annabelle, as your old home has gone up in flames. And at this same tavern, Tidge, you are currently sleeping there, and Orillo is spending the day there too. Edgar, I leave this up to you. You could be there if you want, or perhaps your monastery that you were at before. It's up to you.
I'd probably be with Tidge.
Okay. So you guys are all at the exact same tavern. As the day rolls around, it is the... No. I believe it's the 10th. Let me check here real quick. It is the 10th of spring, and on this fine day, you can hear the sound of a chill wind that rolls in off of the ocean and comes sweeping up through the temples as you guys start to get up, and your windows rattle a little bit with the wind from outside. As you guys are getting up, it seems that you're the first to do so, as you're pretty early here, close to the crack of dawn, maybe like 6 or 7 o'clock. As you guys get up from your tavern rooms here, what do you want to do?
I would love to fill my empty belly, that's for sure. So I would head downstairs.
Sure. You go
I will
downstairs,
do the same.
and in that main area, you can see that there's basically nobody here. It's completely empty. It's early in the morning. The only person who's already up is Annabelle, who's behind the counter, who, to clarify, does not own the place, but does like run the bar during the day. And Annabelle, you've already told the owners that at some point you're going to be heading off and they've got somebody waiting around in the kitchen to take over for you whenever you have to go.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright,
of course.
what can I get for you then?
Well, what have you got for breakfast? I've got quite a
Eggs.
grumbling belly.
Do you like eggs?
I like everything.
Perfect. I'll give you some eggs.
Great.
How about
Boy,
a
they
side
really
of
work
park?
you right to the end, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. I bet you can't wait to get out of this place.
Yeah, it's a fucking shithole.
I think it's a nice establishment. But I've seen plenty though. I've stayed
What
in-
about town and the tavern?
I suppose. Ornello, would you like anything else? Or would you like some breakfast? I'll buy, since you led me through the mountains.
Uh,
I think they have eggs, unless I took the rest of them.
that seems to be what they would have. You have any mountain goat or anything, or?
Off in a different plane of existence, some creature dies due to Irishness.
Well, you heard my friend. Do you have any mountain goat?
No, we got a side of park, I said. Park!
Park. I can't quite understand you. Your accent's a bit thick.
Park!
Park! Oh!
Park.
Is park good for you? Ornello.
Yeah, that should work for me.
Alright. We'll have 2
Okay.
servings of pork and 2 things of eggs, please.
Yeah, right. I'll get it to you when I can.
Alright. Take your time. But
No
don't take too
rushes.
much time.
Maybe
Now,
just a little
Edgar
rush.
and Kalik, you guys would be awake as well and would hear the 3 talking in the main room.
I'd be staying in my room.
Okay,
I'd be like reading at this point.
sure.
I'll probably make some for Kalik too, because I know he doesn't tend to eat unless he's told to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot has happened for him in the last few days, and, he seems a little bit shaken, perhaps. And so you go ahead and get some food ready for him, but he doesn't seem to have left his room, and is probably still down the hall.
And I suppose after it's done cooking, I would pass it out to the 2 at the bar counter and then try to go find him if it's not too busy in the establishment.
Sure. There's nobody, actually, and it's so early that there's
Perfect.
just empty tables everywhere.
Alright, so Annie's gonna walk down the hall towards Kalik's. Oh my god. Sorry. My earbud's falling out of my ear in 2 seconds. So she's gonna walk down the hall and
Okay. You eventually find yourself in front of Kalik's door, and you hear a mild sound from the other side, betraying that there's some kind of movement, but it's quite faint.
Alright, Kalik, I know you got your fucking nose in a book. Get out here and eat some breakfast.
You can't make me.
I'll
Love it.
make you alright. Get out of here.
I very sheepishly like close my book, so I don't want to argue with this girl. I like defeated, stand up, open the door, bow my head, and walk towards where the tables are.
Sure.
What, you expect me to carry this breakfast all the way back to the fucking table? No, you
Aye.
take it.
No, I do.
I'm gonna walk in front of him and trip him as I head back to the table.
Make a dexterity saving throw, please, Kalik.
It's the first roll of
The first roll of the day.
Dex save is 20.
Kalik jumps over your foot there in the last moment and avoids face planting into the hallway.
You're lucky you're so fucking nimble.
Stick my tongue at her, and walk out.
Okay. Down in the main room, you see the man that has hired you guys on, as well as the mountaineer guide. Everybody is seated over by the bar, and all the tables in the main room seem to be empty, as it is quite early and no patrons have really come in yet. You're missing one, however, and it appears that Edgar Lyle, a paladin from the town, has not joined your group quite yet.
Well, I suppose we best get our last companion, and then we can start making plans for getting out of this town. So I'll wolf down the last little bit of my breakfast and knock on Edgar's door.
I'll put my sword away and I'll get up to the door and just kind of quietly open it, make eye contact, and then walk downstairs.
Okay.
Quiet one, that is. Then I'll walk back.
You guys all see that Edgar eventually makes his way into the room, and the whole party is assembled here. Apart from the winds causing the shutters and glass panes to warble around a little bit, the only other sound in the room seems to come from the fire in the kitchen, past the door there, and a couple of people who are probably in there making something to eat. And Annabelle, you would know that these are the people that own the establishment and everything that are back there while you're taking care of the main room.
Perfect. Alright, can I get you some breakfast before we leave?
No thanks, I already ate. I'm quite full, thank you.
I'm not talking to you, you fucking weirdo.
Oh,
Wee
That's
little
uncalled
man.
This
Hey,
is your new boss, by the way, and it's
That's
worth
true.
mentioning, Tidge, this is your new employee.
Yeah. I mean, I'm rude, so
it's okay.
I'm really rude. So, I mean, damaged
I am-
relationships already.
Super jolly and very amiable, so I am
Oh, okay.
fine with it. It's tough to get under my skin, I'll be sure to let you know.
Do I
bet
see
you're
any
a
innocence,
little
but-
prick.
Do I see any food behind the bar, or is it all hidden?
No, there's no food behind the bar other than a loaf of bread, which is wrapped in some cloth, seated on like a little tray there. Yeah.
I'll just kind of point at that.
Are you just pointing at food that's been sitting? Alright.
It's pointing at a loaf of bread, which is behind the counter.
Okay. I'll cut a piece and hand it to him.
Sure.
Thank you. I'll
Or
just
would
start
you like
chowing
the
down.
whole loaf?
I don't
No,
know if
that-
he heard you.
That's all right. Thanks.
Seems he did. Alright,
Why, he's more fun than Kalik.
I say so.
Calyx eating a book.
I shoot a dirty look over. Back to my book.
Alright, well, I'm glad you've all agreed to come out with me. Like, you know, I can't really offer much in payment, but I'm giving you plenty of adventure, I hope.
Now,
Alright.
Tidge, I should mention that you've been given some information by your celestial patron, and he has told you of a location south of what is known as the Red Watchman. There is a temple called the Temple of Despair, and it is believed that in there you will either find the book that you seek, or at least a clue to where the book may be, as that is the last known location that your celestial being here seems to think it is.
Alright. What
You
was
don't
it?
know
South
how-
of...
Yeah, you don't know how far south of it is, but it's south of the Red Watchman. So if you look at the map there, you'll probably see it close by.
Right.
Oh yes, and this marker is here because one of you has a quest involving that, right?
That would be me.
Right, you have an old expedition thing for it. So there's one there, and then the other one is south of the Red Watchman, so it could be anywhere here, really.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not too far south or anything.
Alright. Orillo, have you heard anything of this Temple of Despair? You're quite familiar with this mountain, so
Ah.
kind of hoping that you might have. Or do you know of any temples that may be lying around?
Table talk. Would I?
What do you have for the intelligence skills?
Shit.
If I overhear this, I have proficiency in all. It's what I have all of them.
And I mean, I have proficiency in everything but nature.
Would I know anything about it?
Okay. Arillo, I'd say you can go ahead and make a straight luck roll, because you do live in the mountains. If you have a 15 or higher, you'll know here. Otherwise, it's going to be up to some other rolls.
I do not know there.
Okay, that's a strong 6. By the way, rolling like that is heresy. You're supposed to go like this.
Oh, okay.
Just
So
an
I'll take the
FYI.
no number. Okay, never mind. New number doesn't work anyway.
Heresy.
I'm just kidding. But anyway,
I'm sorry, I do not.
That's alright.
I would like you to go ahead and roll a check. I will allow you to do... Actually, I'd allow you to do any of them other than investigation. You just have to tell me which one.
History.
Okay?
17.
17. You have heard of this Temple of Despair. Granted, you don't know a lot about it, but you know of its location. It is said to be on the northern ridge of the mountains of Lord Bane Cabal.
Right. I believe you're looking for a temple on the northern ridge of the... What was it? The
The
Lord
mountains.
Lord
That's right.
Bane Cabal?
The mountains of Lord Bane Cabal. It's the mountain range that Ilos is built into, actually.
Well, how fortunate.
And Arilla was from.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that you have some details, Aurelio, do you think that you could lead us in that direction?
I think I could. Yes, I believe I can.
Now, Aurilla, with your knowledge of these mountains, you would know some of the passes through the area, but being a Goliath, your people like to stay to the mountain peaks. You do, however, know that it's possible to go through the mountain to the other side to avoid the elements. That's up to you which direction you want to recommend towards your group or anything, but that's what you've got. You can either go over top of the mountains, or you can go through them. Alternately, you could take like a really long route and go around the mountains, traveling maybe by boat or something different. You could head like this, around like the inlet, and make your way to Everwatch. You could go the opposite direction towards Seba and then head in. It's up to you guys.
So the Mines of Moria or the the hill peaks? Shit.
So there's 3 ways to this temple. One that'll take a while if we walk around the mountains. I do not suggest that. We can go up and over the mountains, which I can definitely do that. Or we can go through the mountains. There's a path that goes through the mountains that we could take.
What is this path like? The one that goes through the mountains.
Would I know what the path looks like?
The path that goes through
Obviously.
the mountains. You certainly would. There's multiples, because the Mountains of Lord Bane Cabal is like a long mountain range with a whole bunch of different peaks, and the names of these peaks have kind of changed throughout the ages and have been gained and lost as time has gone by, and you know a few different ways that you could go through them. In fact, you could travel through one very close. That would take you right over here towards the river. You could also go one that would diagonally kind of, take you over towards your destination directly, though that might be a little bit perilous. So it's up to you. But you know multiple ways through the mountains for sure.
Okay. What if another one is perilous that you said there, and what would the other one's conditions
So there's
be
a
in?
fast one that involves more danger, especially like climbing related danger, and then there's one that'll take slightly longer, but it won't involve as much chance of falling to your death.
Alright. So there's a couple of paths through if we were to go through the mountains, where one is a bit of rough terrain, where it's high cliffs and ledges and sharp rocks, and the other one's not as bad, but it'll just take a bit longer to get where we're going.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm a lot better with the books than I am with the navigating the terrain. As evidenced by you finding me just wandering aimlessly through the mountains initially. So, if it were me, and to be fair, this is my expedition company. I'd say the slower, less perilous trail would be the best one.
You are the
But
boss. Whatever
It's-
you see fits, then I will take whatever way you want to go.
So, does that sound good to you guys?
Is it going to be cold up there?
In the top of the mountain? Probably not.
Are you sure?
Not a bit.
Arillo, you know that in the springtime, the temperatures rise and fall with the whims of the weather.
Depends on the winds in the tops of the mountains, but sometimes it'll be warmer, and then other times it'll be colder. So it is up to
Alright,
you
so
how.
I'm asking if I should bring something for warmth.
It wouldn't hurt.
Perfect. Kayla,
If
are you
anything,
going to be warm enough with all your little...
Hell if I know. Never been there.
Great, so I'm... Never mind. I'm going to need the blanket then, I suppose.
I can carry if you would like. I can carry extra stuff for you.
I think I can manage as long as
Such
I
a
get
generous
it.
soul.
But thank you.
Indeed. I only have 34 pounds. I have 171.
So, table talk, I need to get a blanket for both myself and Kayla, because I'm sure he doesn't have one.
Okay.
I don't have one either.
So you can add a blanket to both of your inventories. The tavern would let you take one.
Oh, for free?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've worked here long enough that the owners would let you take it.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's not much of a severance package. Now, if you got 3 blankets, that would be great. Or if you could point me to a place where I could buy one, would probably work just as well.
Okay. Would I know where to get one of those?
Sure. You'd know that there's very little in terms of like a market in this town, as it's basically a collection of religious temples and shrines, but there is one place where a couple of goods are exchanged, and you might be able to find something there.
Perfect. So, can I add 2 to my inventory? One for me and one for Kalik, or do I have
Sure.
to go and buy one for him?
No, you can take 2.
Orillo, whereabout is your tribe located? Will we be going by them at all?
We're in the peaks of the mountains. But I just choose any random spot on the map.
You know that your group
And the
moves
map.
around, so
Okay.
whether or not you'll bump into them is actually left up to chance.
Ah,
Alright.
I don't
So-
like the idea of that. I guess I'll go buy a blanket.
Yes, that may be a good idea. I can grab supplies to build a fire for those that need it. The cold does not affect me, so
Hey,
Alright.
Arillo,
yes.
you a half-decent hunter?
Yes. I have learned from my father.
Look, I don't have much experience in the mountains, but I know the easiest way to weather a storm is fur. So,
Yes.
cheapest way would be, if you're good with a knife, go hunt a few animals, make some cloaks, be good to go.
Arillo, you know that what Edgar's talking about is indeed true, but the problem is that skinning animals and getting their hides into a condition where they can be worn and whatnot is a process that takes quite a while, actually. 10 days before you could take a piece and kind of tan it into something usable.
Okay.
It might be worth buying some, but making some in a short period of time, definitely out of the question.
And Edgar would have no idea about the process.
Well, it seems like
You
all things
are.
point to having to go and buy them.
I didn't even say it yet.
What was that, Orillo? You looked like you were about to talk before I did.
A single Goliath tear runs down his face.
Go on, big guy. It's alright. I'm
I was
sorry.
going to say that it would take us a while to craft them up. As much as a good idea that would be, it would take us a bit too long to make these fur coats. So, as Tidge has said here, is that we should just go out and buy some.
I kind
Well-
of shrug, like, okay.
I don't know about you, but I'm not very wealthy, sir.
I'm kind of banking on the fact that I'm kind of hoping that blankets aren't terribly expensive. If not, then I guess I'll just be cold. And die.
I
I'd
have
offer
some
my
gold I could spare.
water, but I don't know how it feels to snuggle a dwarf.
I'm not a dwarf.
I'm
So-
sorry.
It'll be a little different.
Whatever you are, I'm not familiar.
You short
Annie.
people all look the same, she says.
He's a fucking gnome.
Oh. I've heard. Never
Oh.
mind.
I've heard
The
you guys
dwarves aren't
taste
really short
delicious.
people, anyways.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
So it's worth mentioning at this point that those of you who are outside of town have little in terms of contacts here. Orillo, Tidge, you're completely out of the loop here. Same to Kalik, actually, because you're so sort of locked away and everything. Annabelle, you might know a few people, but the only person who has like a really powerful contact in this city is you, Edgar. You happen to know that there's somebody who's assigned more or less to keep an eye on you and keep you from death, a friend of the family who's been hired and has come out here. And you know that this man is somebody who you've spoken with recently and has told you that if you do plan to do anything, right, you are supposed to tell him. You don't have to do so, obviously, but that's the that's the assumption that he's operating under. So keep that in mind. Also, I've received an urgent telegram here at the Dogo location. Oh my! We played with a CS:GO hacker one time who at the start of every game was just like, "Oh, wait a second, I'm getting the info. They're going 3B. Nope, 4B. All right, let's go away, guys."
That's funny.
Do you have to run out and go and take this stuff, or
I have to pee real bad.
let's take 5 minutes, guys?
I've been in a car for a long time. But other than that, I will be done in like less than 5.
Sure. Let's all take 5 or 10 minutes, guys, and come back in a minute. I've had a lot of coffee too.
I do
Okay.
have a question for Aleutian.
Sure. Ask it before I head off here, if you would.
Yes. So I put as my weapon, I put it as a halberd, and I didn't realize that we were supposed to buy it. So how much would that cost?
A
I've
halberd.
got 75 gold.
A halberd would cost you, given that you just created your character. Fuck is it? 20 gold.
20 gold. Okay. I
Gold.
still have 55 gold then.
Damn, you got a lot of gold.
Dude, I am.
Yeah, I didn't buy anything.
There's a
I didn't
couple
buy
of groups
anything.
that are like hella broke right now.
I have 4 silver pieces.
There you go.
I have 7 gold and 3 silver. 6 gold and 3 silver, excuse me.
The only thing I bought was the halberd. That's it. I haven't bought anything else.
You don't have a backpack?
Food?
Although I should get a backpack.
I will
No
be right
shit.
back.
Oh shit. I should
You don't
do
have
that.
clothes either?
Yeah, you don't have your starting items and with your background? Those are free.
No, I have that stuff. Yeah, I have that stuff.
Okay. Well,
I
get an
forgot.
explorer's backpack or something, dude.
Yeah, I'll do that. Make
Just
sure
a
I
whole
have my
bunch of shit.
D&D book here.
You pooping McPoop face.
I didn't realize that we were supposed to buy the stuff, and then somebody told me that, and I didn't buy the backpack because I didn't know if Evolution was on yet or not. I'm in this section. that
Oh
has backpack,
shit!
though.
Did I not think to buy leather? Oh no, I got leather armor. Cool.
Interesting.
I was looking at my
no.
invocations, and I was like, shit! I don't have mage armor.
I spent a couple hours juggling items.
Yeah.
I'm an aristocrat.
You're a noble or an aristocrat?
No, I'm a. That's just basically how much gold you have. It's at 10 minimum, so. Where is the gear? Oh, it's back this way. Okay, I found it.
Question about Edgar. Does he have any like books that he has like strapped to him at all, or no?
He's gonna steal your books.
He would have one tome, yeah, but it would be small, probably the size of like I can't think of something off the top of my head. Like maybe the size of like a PS4 game case. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If that makes sense. Yeah, and it wouldn't be too thick, and it would be basically like leather clad right to his belt.
Okay. I'm just taking note.
So, close back.
We've only like seen each other for not too long. Would you have read it at all, like out in the open, or is that just
Not even a little bit, no.
Okay, cool.
Carrick doesn't give a shit. Oh, wait. Edgar doesn't give a shit about books.
Carrick! Yeah! I'm gonna have like an
Alright.
altered carbon, like fucking mind fuck with my personality now.
Alright, I've got 45 gold then.
Juggling a girl, juggling Ava, juggling all sorts of shit. We are gonna TPK. I'm sorry to say it, guys.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I'm not a very fight-friendly character.
Neither am I.
I am. With my halberd now. I am.
We just have to play to our strengths.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'll
Throw
I'll
me
do my
into the
best
front.
to keep you alive, but
Throw me into the front of the battlefield. No!
what?
I just dropped my book.
relax.
So?
Bent the cover. No!
It's just a book.
Says the one that loves books.
What? How did it bend the cover? It's a hard cover.
Yeah, it like fell and it landed angled. And now it's like off centered. I gotta sneeze, holy shit.
You have to sneeze. Holy shit!
You're if my dog was a
All right.
human, you would be like in terms of like the thought process.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I just sneezed.
You went
like,
on like
4
18 fucking tangents in 30 seconds.
Well, I
It
had to
sounds like when I
sneeze.
tell a story.
I was gonna say that's what it's like when my girlfriend tells a story. It's just like, babe, you were talking about. No, back it up. Back.
Alright, I just bought an explorer's pack and I just read that it's 10 gold unless it's different for your thing, and then I will change that.
Nope. If it's the base price in the book, then you're all good. Are we all back?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a dogo? Is that Shadow, the poof ball?
The poof ball. He's so happy. He's like crying.
Give him some head pats for me.
Okay. Tanner's like molesting his fur, so I don't know. I can't really reach him. He's in the back. Oh, there he is.
That's weird. That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
That's a very weird thing
Right.
to say.
Let's start.
But
back
I
up.
mean, it's true, isn't it? Like, petting a dog,
Molesting his
them.
fur.
Let's be real here.
There's a
He's
negative
Harvey
connotation,
Weinsteining your fucking car right now, is what or your dog.
and the dog is loving it.
He does. He loves it.
All right, we're all back. You guys are still at the tavern and are talking about how to kind of prepare for this expedition now that you've narrowed down a couple of ways to get there and have a rough idea of its location.
So it seems that we need a little bit of shopping to do, or got a little bit of shopping to do, get us ready for this, and then we can head out unless anybody else has something to do.
Nope.
All right then.
I do not.
Nope.
Annabelle, was it?
Yes.
Yes, great. Can you point us to someone who might be able to sell us perhaps some blankets and maybe a couple of other miscellaneous items?
Furs.
Alright, this way.
Okay.
I'll see you later, Betty.
Oh,
Marky Betty.
You hear Betty call back from past the door within the kitchen. She goes, "Okay." With that, do you guys step outside?
So long, Betty. And I'll head out.
Thank you for your hospitality.
The group makes their way outside and finds themselves in the somewhat removed district from the rest of the temples, where there's a bunch of housing and a couple of very, very basic establishments. Chief amongst which is this tavern that you guys are at. Everything else is more or less just normal houses. But Annabelle, you actually know that across town, near a couple of other temples, there's a general store where you're probably going to be able to get these little items that the group needs. Are you guys headed over there?
I'd say so,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you lead them through the town. And the city of Ilos is quite strange. It has this like massive cathedral at its center with a huge courtyard around it, and all of the surrounding area is just different temples. And though it's the crack of dawn and very early, you guys have had enough time to sit down and eat, and some other people have already kind of started their daily routines as well, and you can see people in different priestly robes and things like that kind of wandering the area. You can also see that down by the beach there's a set of 2 heavy guard towers and a bay which is filled with different ships. Now,
I thought I muted it before.
Take that, Mike.
You muted it during, and it was amazing.
don't apologize, the timing couldn't have been better.
I'm allergic to bays.
Ships! So off you guys go. You eventually find yourselves in front of a general store, and this shop is considerably larger than the other buildings around here. It rises up to about 2 stories and has a flipped open sign by its main door there, inviting you guys in. What do you guys want to do?
I will walk in.
Okay.
I will also walk in, but I'm going to duck my head, because if I don't, I'm going to hit it on the ceiling.
Okay.
Or on the door frame.
Now, at this point, I want
Am
to
I
ask...
welcome here?
I would say, yeah, you're probably welcome here. Kalik, have you been literally locked to the inside of the library?
No, like as I would have gotten older, I would have had more freedom to, like to temples to get information or like trade.
Okay. So you and Annabelle are probably familiar with this store. I would say that you're not on any good or bad terms with the owner, but you know that his name is Jothan. And I'll spell that in tabletop here, should you guys need it.
I will let Annie do the talking.
Seriously?
As you step inside, you guys see all the wares that lay about here, and given how large the building is, the stairwell at the back end of the room must lead up to even more stuff, though at the top of the stairwell you can see that there is a locked door that says employees only. Along the walls there are displays filled with everything from armor and weapons to rations and rope and backpacks, the whole 9 yards. Behind the counter is the man that you guys have come to know as Jotham, who sells most of the basic goods in this entire town, in fact. And he kind of gives you guys a wave and just immediately goes back to looking at a piece of paper that he has in his hands. While he's staring at the paper, though, he does say, if you need anything, let me know.
So,
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yes.
Do you have any fur cloaks?
Taking a trip, then. I've got a few things. You see,
I kind of put my hand up like, well.
He leads you over and steps out from behind the bar there, leaving the paper and quill behind, and takes you over to a corner of the room where there's a bunch of clothes that are kind of on a rack. And after moving some of them, you can see that there's some fur cloaks there. And they have little price tags on them, and you can see that the average fur cloak here looks like it'll run you probably about 5 gold.
I'll just pick up something suitable in black
Sure.
and give him the 5 gold.
Okay. He gives you a nod and a smile, and you guys exchange the coin. He hands the thing over. You need anything else?
I'll point towards Annabelle there, and I'll just keep looking.
Missy, you need anything?
I don't believe so. Fuck, my accent's just shit.
It became Emma Watson halfway through.
Well, I'm trying to like keep a dog off of my lap and
A dog?
a dog. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I need anything else. Unless Kalik suggests something. He's making me talk, so I'm gonna make him figure out what we need.
You see Annabelle stare at you expectantly, Kalik, from across the room. You're not sure what she's getting at, but she's staring at you.
I look at her, I look at Edgar, I look at her, I point to the cloak.
I'm giving him the most, like, what the fuck is wrong with you look, and then I'll just, like,
The shopkeep leans over and goes, something wrong with your demon friend.
Do you think we need anything other than a blanket up there in the weather? In
Are you
the
asking
mountain?
me? Because I don't really know. Clearly,
I'm
I'm just as
asking the
unprepared as you.
shopkeep.
The shopkeep doesn't respond. Instead, Jotham looks over at you, Edgar, and he's just whispered to you a moment ago, and he says, are you in charge of these?
I just look at him.
Can I see if I heard that?
Sure, make a perception check.
And I'm giving him specifically a, like,
What?
why are you bothering me look type of thing, like, come on.
That, I believe, is just a straight 10.
Yeah, you would have heard him.
Okay. No, sir, I'm in charge of this expedition.
Right, well, if you need something, let me know.
I need a few things, actually.
Okay.
So I see you've got the fur cloaks now, that's good. What about perhaps a lamp and some oil to get it going?
He
Can you
gives
help
you
me
a
out in
nod
that
and
regard?
leads you over to another part of the shop and shows you he has a few different lamps and torches and all the like. The prices are pretty good, and you find that, let's see here. The lamp oil costs you almost nothing. It seems to go for 3 silver for a flask that would probably last you many hours.
Okay.
The lantern itself, let's see here. I swear equipment's around here somewhere. Ah, here it is. The lantern itself seems to go for 12 gold. If you're looking for a bullseye one, and if you're looking for a hooded lantern, it's only 7.
I'm gonna ask somebody in the party, it doesn't matter who. Right, don't we need something to eat while we're out here roaming around mountainside?
I mean, I can hunt, but if you would like,
Is there a bountiful game up in the mountains there?
would there be tabletop?
Arillo, you know that game in the mountains is scarce, and that's why your people are so hardy. You don't always know when your next meal is going to be.
Hunting up in the mountains is pretty tough, to be honest. You'd be very lucky to find something. So
What about fishing?
maybe. Well, we don't have very many streams or rivers up in the mountains.
What about
Jotham is
lakes?
standing next to you, Edgar, and he puts his hands on his hips and goes like...
While they're talking, I'll pick out 2 for coats or cloaks or whatever, and 1 for me and Annie.
Sure.
All right. Does he have any rope? You said he has rope. How much is the rope?
He doesn't have any hempen rope, but he has regular rope, and it seems to go for 2 gold. Sorry, 3. For 50 feet.
Did I notice this guy let out an irritated sigh?
I think that you would. He's not making much attempt to conceal it.
Oh,
Hey,
jeez.
are you in a hurry to get back to doing nothing, or are you happy with us just browsing for a while?
He seems kind of taken back by your boldness, and he just kind of gives you like a wave, like a dismissive sort of wave, and just kind of steps away and goes back to quotations, doing nothing up behind the desk.
She doesn't understand the book thing. Like, she doesn't get Calyx's book thing. She's not gonna get this kind of book thing. What if he's doing anything with books? Which I would presume he would be.
Yeah, he's writing on a piece of parchment at the desk right now.
Yeah.
Annie, buy these. I'll be waiting outside.
Well, how much are they, Calyx? I'm not very wealthy. I already told you.
You'll figure it out. I'll go wait by the door.
Sure. You've been handed 2 fur cloaks. The total price seems to come to about 10 gold.
Oh!
I can cover you.
I mean, I have enough. I'm pretty sure. I don't. Is my GP on one of my note cards? Sorry, I don't have a.
I don't know.
I don't have access to my
I'm looking
GP.
in your direction, Connor.
Well, Aurelio, if you're offering, I seem to only be able to afford a cloak, and I think that's a little more important than rope. But if you wouldn't mind maybe picking up a little bit of that, I'd say we'd probably be on our way. Maybe
How
some
much rope?
torches too.
I have with me. I have torches. I've got rope, hempen rope.
Well, in that case, I won't need any of your money at all. Thanks for the offer, but I'll go and buy this myself then. And I'll grab...
I mean, I can buy it for you, but
Oh, that's not necessary.
all right.
Table talk. I think I had. Because I don't know.
You think you had because, yeah, I don't know?
Well, I had 10 in that little pouch,
Oh,
and that's when I'm counting. Plus, I had 6 left over.
okay. So,
Buy the
Aurelio, if
cloaks,
you... Oh,
buy some rations. Think
Yeah, I
of
was
I-
thinking about rations. But I have
Yeah,
to buy
it's-
enough for
I'll
Calyx
pick
too,
up the
because
rations.
apparently I need to feed him.
I'll pick up the rations.
Barbecue.
barbecue.
Alright.
barbecue rations. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Barbecue.
Damn, I'm hungry all of a sudden.
Alright, I guess I'll just be taking this cloak then.
Jotham gives you a nod and extends a hand, and before long, coins have been exchanged, and you've picked up a cloak. There's now one for everybody, apart from your Goliath friend, who looks like the sort who probably won't need it. You guys head back out?
I would like to purchase some rations. How many rations do you have? So I'll take about 40 days if you have some. If you have that much.
You're buying 40 rations?
Maybe
Would you be able to
less
carry
than
that?
They
I've
weigh
got
quite a bit.
10 on me. Yeah, let's go with 20.
20 rations. Okay.
How much is that?
The,
You're all
the
gonna need your
shopkeep,
fill.
Jotham pulls out an abacus for a brief moment. 20,
You're
you
all
said?
gonna have to. Yes.
Whoa, what the fuck? His abacus appears to be broken. Nego, what the god? Sorry,
Sorry,
Twitch.
Sorry,
Also sorry.
He tells you that that'll be 15 gold.
Alright, here you are.
Okay. So for 15 gold, you're given 20 rations. It's a pretty large pack of them all bundled together when he's finished getting the whole thing ready for you. And you're able to stuff that away in your kit.
I'll mix that with my other rations. So I've got 30 rations in total.
Okay.
Well, it seems like we're all set. You guys
I
all
believe
good?
We are.
Alright,
I'll just
walk
nod.
Sure.
I'll walk up to the counter. I don't believe I caught your name. You've been quite helpful.
Jotham.
Well, Jotham, you're a Class A gentleman.
Thank
My
you.
name's Tidge. And if you ever hear of the expeditionists, you'll know who's walking around in your cloaks. Because that's who we are.
I'd like you to make an insight check as Jotham nods towards you.
I'm shaking my head in the background, just like, nope, not me.
I'm just not even paying attention anymore.
Don't work. Insight. Oh, that's 7.
Okay. Jotham gives you a polite nod and seems to be impressed by how much of like a stand-up gentleman you are. And he gives you a handshake and says, well, thank you then.
Why, thank you.
If you need anything
I hope
else,
to be seeing you soon.
my shop's been here for years. I'll see you again sometime, perhaps.
Here's hoping. And I'll give him a nod and I'll walk out the door.
Okay. The group
So-
makes their way outside. Annabelle, what's up?
Sorry, I was wondering. So you said it was 10 gold for the 2. Connor, can you make a note for me?
Yep, I already did. You're good.
Perfect. Sorry.
All good.
Continue.
As your group steps outside, you see some priests and monks going around and this and that. And Edgar, you see a familiar face. Jem is traveling down the road.
Shit.
He's a human gentleman of roughly about 5'7", who seems to be wearing a set of like commoner's clothes with a breastplate over top and a what's it called? A rapier at his side. And he seems to be eating something as he wanders along. And he's going by not towards your group, but kind of down a different street in a different direction, and then just kind of chances and looks over, and he goes, "Ah, Edgar!" and calls out from like down the street.
I'm kind of like turning 90 degrees in the other way.
Edgar, it seems that fellow over there is trying to get your attention.
Over Edgar's shoulder, you see the man start to approach. He seems to have just taken on a large smile on his face and is moving, not at a jog, but at a hurried pace towards your group.
He's coming this way.
Are you gonna give me a play-by-play on everything that happens in the street?
Pretty much.
Wonderful.
He seems to kind of wrap up the food that he's got in a small piece of paper and tucks it away in his breastplate there, and he puts one hand around a belt loop and the other on the top of his rapier in a somewhat relaxed position there. And he steps up towards the group. You guys would all see this man. And he goes, Edgar, it's good to see you again. You're up rather early.
Yeah, haven't gotten much sleep as of late. How you doing, Jem?
I'm feeling chipper.
Right.
There's a somewhat awkward silence as Edgar just kind of like leaves that hanging there, and Jem has like a huge grin over his face and kind of takes a moment to look at each of you, and he goes, "Hello, Jem. Nice to meet you all."
My name's Tidge. How you doing? It's great to meet you as well.
Tidge, a pleasure.
Awesome. What? You seem to know our friend Edgar. We've only just met, but do you mind me asking how you two got acquainted?
Friend of the family.
Oh, excellent.
Glorified babysitter. Yeah.
Oh, surely it can't be that bad.
Well, that's certainly one way to look at it.
I give him like a small grin as if like I'm just playing with him.
Jem is all smiles.
He has like a shit-eating grin on his face.
Yeah, it borders on that. He looks over and he says, "So, Edgar, where are you off to then? I see you're all carrying a few new items. Headed off, out of town, perhaps."
Oh, just real close nearby. Shouldn't be more than a couple days.
And then coming back to Ilos? Or headed somewhere more hospitable?
Right. I don't know, to be honest.
He's telling the truth. I mean, who knows where our path will take us?
I see. Well then, as you know, Edgar, I have been charged with keeping you safe and out of trouble, and should... Don't sigh, young man. It's fine.
Young man.
I am okay to let you go and do whatever it is that you wish to do.
Well, that's quite
asked-
fortunate.
I merely ask that you keep me in the know.
Look, Jem, I'm not on board with this whole babysitting bullshit, and I have no intention of going back to Solsland anytime soon. So I'll try to keep you in the loop, but I'm not gonna.
God damn it! Someone went down the fucking stairs.
Shoot.
Sorry, what did you say? You're not down to what? Oh my god, it's still going. Is this Discord? Oh my god!
Oh my! What was that?
Nope.
I thought it was just me.
I thought
What
that.
the hell was that?
Wow.
That was
That was
weird.
Skynet. Skynet is starting right
Oh.
What happened?
Oh my
John
god.
Connor.
now.
We were all simulacrum and we didn't realize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so I got up
Metrics.
until you were like, well, you said I'm
Wait,
not
so
really keen on
everybody
this.
did that?
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I just had really shitty connection. I was like, I'm going through a dead zone, and I got my phone like up in the air.
Activate. No, it's that was Discord for sure. Sorry, what were you saying to Jem?
I was just saying,
You weren't keen on this whole babysitting thing, and then it kind of cut out.
right. And then I said, look, I'm not gonna be doubling back to Ilos every time just to tell you where I'm going next. So
I
if you're
see.
charged with a job, you can do it, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to facilitate things for you.
Edgar, I've been a friend of your family for some time now, and I'd like to inform you that as much as you're displeased about being a grown man who has to report to somebody, I'm not exactly looking forward to following you and your gang around either. Now,
And
I hope that fosters some sympathy with you. If you come back in a body bag, I'll have a lot of unpleasant reports to write to the Lyles. I'm not going to follow you around through whatever path it is that you're going, or hop on any ship that you intend to hop on. I just merely ask that you check in.
I'll put a hand on his shoulder and just meet him eye to eye. How tall is he? Am I like towering over him at
He's-
6'2"?
He's like 5'7", so he's a kind of a short gentleman.
So I'll look down to him then and be like,
He's a little bit
Look.
older than you, but you're actually somewhat similar in age, because your character's like 30, 40, right?
no, he's early graying just because of the stress.
The
of what
stress.
happened,
Oh,
but
okay.
But he's like 29, 30.
So yeah, Jem's like 40. He's a
Okay.
proper man in medieval times.
So I'll look at him. Look, sorry, it's not ideal for either of us, but I'll do what I can. If I find myself in Seba or anywhere else, I'll send word back to Ilos at least, courier or something. Is that all right?
Yes, I'm glad we could come to an agreement. Now, if there's nothing else, I do intend to finish my morning stroll. If you need anything, be sure to ask.
Right. Yeah, we're good. Thanks.
He turns over and looks towards the rest of you all, and he says, "A pleasure to meet you all." And he kind of gives you all a bow, and he seems to give like a particularly wide smile towards Kalik and Annabelle, and then turns and leaves.
Uh-oh.
Annie's gonna turn to Kayla. What's a babysitter?
You need worry about that.
Can I go back into the general store real quickly? I forgot to buy something.
Sure, what do you want to buy?
Two two-person tents.
Oh,
I just saw that in the book as I was getting weights for stuff. By the way, in your character sheet, if you have 10 torches, do not put 10 in weight because it does it 10 times 10.
whoa!
You need to
hell was
slow down.
that?
What was that?
Those tents will cost you a total of 6 gold.
6 gold. I'll do it.
They weigh 20 pounds each.
Aleutian, quick table talk question. When it comes to background features, how can I ask? How much do they come into play? Like, for example, I know it says position of privilege for noble, but is
how
it
much
going
can
to
you
be?
leverage that?
I guess I don't want to really leverage it. I just want to know if I'm walking somewhere. I mean, I wouldn't be hiding the fact that I'm a noble, but is it visually pretty obvious based on the background feature?
It
Or
depends
do
on
you
what you're
kinda-
wearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
If you're in noble dress and have, like a signet ring and everything like that, then it'll be easy to pick out. But if you just kind of tuck those in your backpack and wear normal stuff, you look like anybody else.
Okay, and
your hair
the
might
whole
be done a little bit better or something, but that's
right. I have a disheveled look right now, so that makes sense. And
Yeah.
I can secure an audience with a noble if I need to locally.
Yes, and it's
Okay.
easier the closer or the more connections that place has with your place of birth, because some
Right.
places nobles are like a tight-knit group, and in other cities no one cares, right? So it depends on where you are, but yes, for sure.
Culturally, okay, perfect. That's all I need to know. Thanks.
Like, for example, in the Empire, nobles are just rich people. They're not actually like a pseudo-royalty class, whereas in a lot of other parts of the world, they do fulfill that kind of role.
Oh, okay. So there's like a mercantile
Kind of,
high.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. I got you.
So with that, you guys see Jem depart, and with a brief step back into the shop, Aurelio comes out with a couple of large parcels hanging over his shoulder there.
What have you got there, friend?
Something to help out along the way. Help to keep you all warm.
What is
Alright.
it?
It's a couple of tents.
Oh, that's some fine thinking right there. Well, I guess it seems like we have everything. I
Indeed.
suppose we had best head out.
Let's head on our way. As long as everybody else is ready, I am all set to guide us through these mountains and get to where we're going.
Didn't you say there were 3 options? Are we settled on one?
There's 3 ways to go through it. Whatever way you think you'd like to go, I'll take you through whichever way we need to go.
I'd hope we picked the less dangerous one. It might take longer, but at least we're not dead at the end.
That's
This
where my
is-
mind is at. I mean, I'm open to suggestions, but that's my preference.
Are we really? Well,
What's
are
that?
we really in a hurry?
Not really. I mean, I'd like to get this done somewhat quickly, but not so quickly that I die in the process. Otherwise, it's all for naught.
Right, that one makes sense.
While you guys are standing here, you notice something. A group of priests approach you in the streets. They're wearing white robes and make their way over, and one of them has a bowl in his hands that looks like it's made of gold, and he just kind of holds it out in your direction, and then bows his head, and every one of the monks behind him bow their head at the same time. You can see there's coin in the bowl.
Would I recognize what from what temple they're from?
I would say living here, you probably, with your proficiency and everything, you would know that they're from, what's her name's temple? These are members of, they're followers of Bella. She's the goddess of, like, compassion and giving.
Well,
Right.
So I would know what they're doing, right? That they're like,
They're just seeing if you guys will give them any offerings.
I'll walk up and take a silver piece, put it in the bowl,
Oh.
and nod my head and say,
I thought he was taking one out of the bowl.
Yeah, me too.
no. Out of my pocket into the bowl, I'll nod my head and I'll Bella's blessing.
Okay. All the priests reply in unison, Bella's blessings, and then turn and walk away.
Oh, thank God I didn't have to donate.
Do you say that, Edgar?
No. I think it though.
A lightning bolt comes streaking down from the heavens.
My god is not happy with you doing that. I do not
So-
say that to him.
Edgar's gonna go off in a 20-second daze because I need to go to the bathroom.
Let's take 5 minutes then.
Cool. I'll be right back too.
I am trying to figure out what my god is. Again. What is me? Dysonin.
Dysonin?
Yeah. He's the
Like the vacuum cleaner.
Dice.
Yeah,
Right.
except he's like the god of storms.
So he's like a vacuum cleaner.
Sure.
I'm just teasing.
Giant
I'm
vacuum
teasing.
in the sky.
I know. No, but I figured that works out with my personality because when I was in my backstory, I heard voices coming from the sky when I was young, and as I grew up, I started to understand it more and more. And I talked to my village elder, to my tribal elder, and he told me that I was the first thunder speaker.
Oh, he went on full break. Shit. Sorry.
No,
guys.
we're just
We're just chilling.
we're just chilling out, just waiting for people to return. But what like he's heard the god Dysonin talk from the storms that were going through the mountains, and he was the only one that was able to understand it. His sisters thought he was crazy, but he talked to the elders the elder, and he was like, "Yes, you're the first thunder speaker in centuries," because the rest of his tribe are just like barbarians of like fury and all of that. So
Okay. Do we
as long as
have-
you're fine with me following Dyson, and
I am perfectly fine with that.
cool.
Do we have everybody back?
I am back.
Not yet. Oh,
Yep.
yeah, maybe.
Sweet.
Yep.
Let's go. Perfect. Having offered up a copper piece to satiate the priests here.
Silver.
Silver. Silver piece. They have
Ooh.
taken this offering and
Fancy.
are wandering down the streets. And you guys are, once again, standing outside of the shop here with the rest of the day ahead of you. The sun has gone up. It's probably about 8 o'clock at this point. What do you guys want to do?
Could I have
Edgar.
also put silver in the plate?
Sure. Yeah, they
Please.
would turn to you and give you the same blessing.
Yeah.
Edgar.
Hmm.
This friend of yours.
You can see him, like, walking down the street.
You mentioned family. Where are you from?
I kind of try to start a sentence but don't, and then look, I mean, no disrespect, but I'd rather we just not talk so much about me right now.
Are you still a wee baby?
According to that guy, yeah.
Well, he's alright, cunt.
He didn't seem like that bad a gentleman. In fact, I
Nah.
kind of liked him.
Well, that says a lot about you.
Well, to be fair, I like everybody.
Right.
You can see off in the distance that Jem has bumped into a group of priests who are wearing what looks to be black robes instead of white, and they are speaking with one another and having a laugh about something.
Well, I suppose that you best be off then. Is everybody ready?
Whatever you are, I am.
Just look to Annie.
Alright, Kayla, are you ready to go? Are you excited?
No.
Oh, come on, Kalik. It's gonna be a fun one.
You're finally out of this stupid bookstore. Whatever you want to call it.
I'm not too keen about venturing out.
Hey, you and me both.
Are you afraid you're gonna die?
No.
We all die eventually, Kalik.
It's true. Oh crap! I'm starting to get your accent. It's it's a strange experience I've never had before.
This is the real reason everyone hates tieflings.
Very strong.
Well, I head off. Let's go.
Okay. The group travels off through the town towards the outer limits. There's no proper walls around Ilos. Instead, buildings just become diffuse towards the mountains there. As you guys wander, Aurelio takes the lead. And Aurelio, you know that nearby, towards the edge of town, there are a few mountainous paths that will lead off into different areas. One of these you had used to come down before to get into the city, and it was this one again that you will take, which will hopefully lead you back towards the river on the other side of this mountain. The whole trip, by your estimates, looking at the map, should take you about anywhere from 4 to 8 days, depending on the difficulty of travel.
Alright. So, I'm not going to say that this is going to be easy. It is going to take us a little while to get through this path. Maximum of 4 to 8 days. But it is safer than all the other paths going through the mountains and up the mountains and and around it.
Perspective-wise, the other path would probably take you, let's see, probably about 3 to 4 days.
But it's more dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay. The other path leading this way would cut our travel down quite a bit. It would take about 3 to 4 days, but it is a bit dangerous compared to this path here. So, if you still want to stick to this path, it'll take us around 4 to 8 days.
Fortunately, we've already decided. We're going the way we came the first time, you remember?
I do. I just figured I'd let you know.
I appreciate the offer. But
Alright.
we've quite decided.
Yep. Alright. Well then, best be off into the mountains.
Plus-
Stick
Can I-
close.
Sorry.
Plug it. Stick close. You can easily get lost in these treacherous mountains. So just stay close to one another and follow me.
So, Annie's always like worried about food because she didn't have much growing up. And so, could I, I know you said game was scarce, but could I like keep an eye out for something just in case
Be
Something
foraging
happens
while you're in the mountains?
while we're in there?
Sure. Do you have proficiency in survival?
I don't know. I don't have my sheet.
Connor,
No,
does she have proficiency in survival?
I don't have her sheet open, but I know.
What?
You cut off after no.
Yeah.
I don't have her sheet, but I know she doesn't have.
Okay. So, you can definitely be on the lookout, but this part of terrain is not really something that you're super familiar with, but sometimes obvious things present themselves, and it's good to keep an eye out. Your group begins to travel, and you guys step past the boundaries of the town and begin to ascend on a thin path that's probably about 3 feet wide, just made up of gravel that sort of snakes up and down through different parts of the mountains. I would like somebody who's feeling lucky to make a luck roll.
I made one earlier, but I'll make it again. Nobody else does.
My rolls have been shit tonight.
I'll take it. What else?
Alright.
Do it, man.
It's my first time venture. Yeah, I can't do it the heathen way. 8.
Oh, it's not very lucky.
Rolled off that 20.
No.
The first couple of days are not particularly easy on the group, and traveling upwards along a rocky path constantly is like doing one flight of stairs after another. I need everyone to make for me a constitution check, please. Constitution
Chitlin one.
saving throw, actually.
That is high.
Whew, 20.
What is this? Constitution?
Yes.
Aleutian, do you want to either
Oh,
roll or do you want Connor to roll?
I just rolled for you. You got
Oh,
you got 18.
Oh, nice.
I think you've got one con better than me, so I think you are up to a 20 for that.
She has no modifier on her con. It's just a flat 10. So it'd be 18.
I think she changed it though.
Oh, okay. This is out of date.
Okay, and just keep it flat 18. It's fine.
Okay.
Because I don't have her sheet.
Travel up this area is not easy, and Kalik, to no surprise, being somebody who's spent most of the time around books, you're feeling like your legs are getting shaky and that they might give out. Likewise, this is becoming difficult for you as well. Let's see here. Titch, you're finding that this is kind of tricky, and being shorter than everybody else, you kind of have to do like double the effort to cover the same amount of ground. Your first day up here in the mountains is slow and laborious, but otherwise uneventful, and you guys eventually settle in for the evening. I'd like you to go ahead and make a survival check for me, please, Orillo, and also a survival check from Annabelle's character as well, if you could there, Connor.
That will be a...
You're looking a bit peely-wally, Kalik. Are you feeling okay?
Balls!
Alright. She rolled 19.
Okay.
17.
You guys are unsuccessful in finding any food or any animals that could be hunted down on the first day. But you do find a decent spot to rest, finding a little landing here in the mountains where you can kind of tuck away some of the tents. You guys want to do anything special during the evening? Do you have like a watch order that you want, or a ritual that you do, or anything like that?
I want to snuggle.
I would, a what?
She said she wants to snuggle, and I gasped.
Okay, weird. I will kind of find a place maybe 40, 50 feet away from camp. Is it still light out, kind of?
Yeah, the sun's going down. No real sense in traveling here, and everyone's feeling pretty tired.
Okay, and I'll put my back to the camp, and they wouldn't probably be able to see this, but I'll take my my book out with a pencil, and I'll start jotting some stuff down.
Sure. What are you writing in your book?
Specifically, the party wouldn't know this, but Edgar's working on his oath. For his oath of crown, he had to write one himself, and then it was kind of like blessed, if you will. So he doesn't know what redemption means yet, and he's kind of having a hard time.
Gotcha. Okay. So you go over there and do some self-study, and what are the rest of you guys doing back by the two tents during the evening as Orillo? I assume that you're probably getting like a fire ready or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am.
I'm waiting to watch the stars.
I'd be chatting with Arillo, I think.
Okay.
I think
By the way, I can take on like 2 watches during the night.
I'm just chilling with my mouse, Fergus.
You're chilling with your mouse?
She's an urchin, so she has a pet mouse.
Okay.
Oh, I think we lost her.
Yeah. Oh, Discord. Oh, internet. Okay. So you guys
Can
kind
you
of...
hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
we
yeah.
we were in the dead zone. I said, do I get that, or is that not a thing? Because if it's not a thing, it's fine.
Oh, you
It's not my
definitely
thing.
would.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I named him Fergus. Can I teach tricks?
Okay. So you guys kind of settle in, and I would say go ahead and remove. Oh no, you guys would have eaten at the tavern, so you're good here. But from here on out, with every other day of travel, you will have to go through rations. Now,
I do have 30 days of rations, so
this will be right about there.
Was it 30 or was it 20?
I bought
had
20,
10
but
to
I
begin
had
with.
10 to begin with. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, somebody
Better to
go
be
ahead
well
and make
prepared.
another luck roll.
I'll do it.
Oh.
Never mind.
Oh,
No, you got
alright.
it. It's all yours.
I can't see through all the
I'm
hands.
glad you did that.
Holy shit.
Dude, I'm a
19.
19.
Travel over the next day is actually not so bad, and as you guys are going further and further up into the mountains, the air begins to get a little bit thin, which is difficult, but it's actually not terribly cold here, and a sort of delicate breeze seems to be flowing about the place, and you find that it's quite pleasant, and having slept during the evening in your tents and everything, and making the next day's travel, things are quite good. You eventually come to the point where you're passing through the mountain and you're going in between what looks like two peaks, about to crest over and head to the other side. And while you're doing so, you bump into something strange along the road here, which can only be described as like a little gravelly path. You see what looks like a wandering man making a journey through here alone in the opposite direction.
Well, hello there.
He seems
Ahoy.
to continue wandering in your direction. He has a walking stick, which is much taller than he, with his sort of like hunched over posture. And he wears a set of robes that are completely brown and a hood that goes over his head. And he just kind of, uses his walking stick here and continues going along. And he doesn't say anything to you when you call out. He's probably like 30 or 40 feet away.
I'll start continuing towards him. Sir, what are you doing in these mountains by yourself?
He kind of cranes his head and looks over towards you when you get closer. And he says, "Taking the journey."
What journey might that be?
City's close, isn't it?
Aye,
yeah?
it is.
It's
He's
but
on
a day away.
He's on a pilgrimage.
He nods to himself and he goes, good, good. Blessings to you all.
To you as well. Be cautious, sir. The path is treacherous.
Sorry, can I approach him?
Sure.
Getting a look at him. Is he in kind of rough shape?
He is most certainly elderly, and his legs seem to locomote with a very shaky sense to them. But he does move along, though he's probably like a third of the speed that you guys would be traveling through here. He doesn't seem injured necessarily, but pretty decrepit.
Okay. Well, regardless, what I'll do is I'll kind of just take a hand in both of mine, and I'll do like just 2 points of lay on hands, just to kind of give him a kind of divine warmth, I guess, while he's on his journey.
Sure, okay. So you reach over, and when you heal him, he turns over towards you and stares at you for a moment, Edgar. You can see like one of his eyes is kind of clouded over, and his face is just a tumult of wrinkles colliding with one another. And as he looks over, he gives you a smile and says, "Thank you." And he reaches his hand and kind of, gives you a tap on the shoulder there, and then keeps walking.
Well, that was quite kind of you, Edgar. Did you know that fella? Actually, I wouldn't know what you did.
Okay.
And why'd you... Okay, is that some sort of, Alright then.
You were much better at talking than Elos.
It comes and goes. Like the waves on of the ocean. Which I've never seen.
I'm
All
just
right,
like arching my eyebrows up, like, wow. All right, fucking going downhill fast over here.
That's all right. I spend more times in books than in bars, chatting away with people.
You sound like Kalik. He doesn't talk very much either.
Shoot her a dirty look.
As you look over at her, there's something different that comes from down the path. In front of you, you all see what looks like a small pack of rabbits chasing one another, running across the area.
I'll point it out.
You guys all see what looks like a bunch of rabbits making the crossing across the this little gravel path.
Do you
Maybe
suppose they're on a pilgrimage as well?
Perhaps more food?
Catch him. There's food there. I don't know how we're going to do it, but
By the time that you guys have finished talking about it, the rabbits disappear past a bunch of rocks.
Well, so much for that idea. I suppose we scared them off with all our gabbing.
great, you'll let him get away.
Arillo, I thought you said you were a decent hunter.
I am. If we had noticed them earlier, I would have gone after them. But it's all right. We can. If next time we set up camp, I'll set up my trap and see if we catch anything.
Okay.
I also have 30 days of rations, so I think we're fine.
You already mentioned that.
Yeah, you've spoken about that quite a bit.
I am aware. I
Just making sure we remember. I gotcha. No, I appreciate that.
I mean, I could throw him off this cliff if you'd like.
Oh, I don't think that would be a good idea at all.
All right, let's keep moving then.
All right,
You
let's
think
keep
they'd all
moving then.
scatter?
Okay. You guys continue traveling off down the path, and as you do so, today seems almost blessed. Like the temperature is perfect. Even the air seems to be filled with a vigor instead of being sapped of its oxygen like it was on the way up. And you make pretty good time. You also crest over the mountain here and are treated to the site of the valley down below. There is a prominent river that streaks in between a bunch of mountains just where the two of them meet. You guys know that this river is a very thin thing called the Sword Creek, and it just goes kind of wailing down in between these mountains here, and the water that travels down through them rushes so that the whole thing looks like white rapids kind of just heading off. In one direction, you can see that the mountains seem to pull apart and open into a very large bay. And in the other direction, you can see that they seem to wind into themselves. And there's actually a structure off in the distance. And you can tell from the map there, and also your time here in the mountains, Arillo, you know that structure off in the distance is the Red Watchman, which is an old stone tower that has rested in these places for a long time. It's many days away, but up here at the top of the mountains on a clear day, you can actually sort of point it out.
All right. Right up there is the, you said Red Watchman's Tower?
The Red Watchman, yeah, that's what they call
Red
it.
Watchman. Okay.
Your people
ahead
would
is
have
their-
some stories about it, which amount to don't go there, it's bad.
Okay. Careful. Up ahead is the, Red Watchman's. I've heard stories from many people that traveled through here that we should stay away from it. It is very dangerous and bad. So we can make a detour around it. It'll probably add to the amount of days that we're up in these mountains, but it's worth not taking the risk of being seen there.
What's wrong with it?
Would there be any lore surrounding it?
Ah,
I'm proficient in history, so
sure.
Curious too.
Anyone who's got proficiency in history can roll to see if they remember anything about the Red Watchman.
bookworms unite.
Hey,
Table talk.
Shit.
Connor, you're really far from your mic.
Yeah, right.
22, 17. Okay.
Wait. I have history. It's just not very high.
Ooh, okay. We'll start with the lower one. Edgar, being a noble, you've been taught a few things about the land, a lot of which being different family lineages and things like that, but you also know a bit about a few landmarks, and you know that the Red Watchman is, as Arillo has mentioned, a place that you shouldn't go to. It's an abandoned structure of a bygone era that is associated with travelers going missing, so the path over towards it is not really used. But beyond that, you don't actually know anything else. You're not sure what the reason might be, or, kind of its origins or anything like that. Next on the list here, you know the same thing, Tidge, but you know a little bit more. You know that this watchtower here used to be owned by the city of Seba down below, and they kept this tower here for a period of time to watch over the valley, as it was very prominently used for travelers going from one end to the other. And they used this tower to fend off their enemies and kept terrible weapons in the tower to do so, which were rumored to be able to fire all over the place, like all throughout the valley. If you wanted to travel through here, you had to contend with the people in the tower, and that's just how it was. And so Seba kept control over this area with that. You know a little bit more. You don't know so much about its purpose, but Kalik, you actually know what was supposed to be in the tower. You know that the terrifying thing that was kept there was a group of mages that were skilled in the art of destruction, and it is rumored that the tower was eventually taken and overthrown, and the souls of those wizards never left.
Alright. All I know is not much, to be honest. It's a bunch of ghost stories. Mages. A lot of destruction and magic. Apparently their souls haven't passed. More or less.
That's about what I know about the mage thing. Is new information to me. But I'd say that, yeah, keeping a wide berth is a good idea. Fortunately, it looks pretty far off, so...
Kalik, you say their souls were trapped?
That's how the story goes, I suppose.
Huh.
They were overthrown, and their souls remain.
So they weren't the ones that did any damage, really. I guess they're just trapped there.
Who's to say? I'm not sure. Never been. To be honest, I've never been this far out from town.
Are they trapped or do they want to stay there?
Hell if I know.
That's the question.
I'd be more afraid of the terrible weapons that they used to use to keep off any enemies.
I'd be more afraid if they were staying there on their own volition than if they were staying there because they were trapped there.
It seems like the consensus is to keep away from it.
For now.
It could be
For
something
now.
quite exciting to see. I'll give you that, but I don't think I want to be going there right now.
From this vantage point, Arillo, you see the two main ways that you could go. This is sort of where you have to make the choice to take either the safer path or the more dangerous one. Leading off towards the west is the one that the group has opted not to take. There is a winding path that goes up and down along the mountain ridge itself, where there are many deadfalls that go seemingly into a rocky death. However, there is one path that leads sort of straight down from where you guys are right now, and snakes down towards the Sword Creek. It's down there that you can see there's a small road made of dirt which kind of snakes along on the opposite side of the creek that you could then use, or you could simply travel along the river. Do you continue on this agreed upon course and go down like straight towards the river, or do you want to advise to go in the opposite direction?
I advise to go in the opposite direction.
You want to go to the pitfalls then?
It's a tough choice, but
It doesn't
we
seem
can
that
go
tough to me.
It's what his people are familiar with.
It's true. But are you familiar with navigating the hazards of the mountains? Because I sure am not.
I have traveled amongst these mountains quite often, so I know where I'm going. But if we want to play it safe, then we can go through there.
Can I roll an insight check to see if I know whether or not he knows where he's going?
Sure.
Oh, don't.
I have
trust it.
100% faith in him.
I'm joking.
Oh yeah, sure you are.
I wouldn't know.
Roll your.
As the PM solution, like no, seriously.
No, seriously.
No, seriously, let me roll.
Make
roll
that
it?
roll on the sly, fam.
Fuck it. That's a 6, I think.
You have no idea.
That's a 5. Perfect.
Therefore, I am telling you the right way to go. We could
Could
play
you,
it safe and go through this place, but I think that okay, we'll just play it safe and go through the Red Watch.
Now, are we walking like right next to Red Watch, or is it just really we could just see it from our vantage point?
If you take the safe course, you'll definitely have to pass by the Red Watchman. If you take the perilous one, then you could evade it and go directly towards your destination.
All right. Well,
Kind of like, oh jeez, that's thick.
it seems that both ways present some peril, but I still wouldn't much care for a rocky death. If that's what you're saying lies ahead of us to the west.
It is. I was gonna suggest if you would like, we could tie ourselves off with the rope that we have, and then that way, if someone were to fall, we'd have everybody else to try and help them up.
Oh, I'm having Monday flashbacks.
All right, not gonna do that then.
Right, so what if one of us falls and then takes the rest of us with him?
Right? I don't think I'll be helping you get up. I don't think I'll be helping any of you get up, to be honest.
I'm pretty good at these mountains, but I could definitely pull you up. But let's just play it safe and.
If it makes you feel comfortable, is there a way, do you know of a way that we could perhaps cut off the path and maybe skirt along maybe the edge of the mountain and kind of go in between these two paths? Or would that just be insanely dangerous as well?
What about the river?
We'd have to take the safe path to get to the river.
Right, it's
Hey.
just pick one. How hard is it?
It seems like we don't quite have a safe path, and like I said, I don't really want to go with the pitfall, so
Then
I'd say
we'll-
we go east.
Then we will travel through the Red Watchman, or close to the Red Watchman. We'll just keep it quiet and make sure that we don't do anything that will alert suspicion towards us.
I'm sorry, guys, but what happened to traveling through the mountain? Isn't that still an option?
We're doing that.
Yeah, there's one of two paths. And
But
The
it's
one
going to
they
take
sound-
us near the Red Watchman?
yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Huh.
Otherwise, the other one's like janky as fuck, and we don't want to go down that one.
Would we
Yeah.
know if the travelers that go missing have entered the Red Watchman, or if they've just gone close?
Oh.
Or is the lore not super specific?
It would not be specific. You wouldn't know
Okay.
how close these people got before vanishing because, well, they vanished.
True.
With your group standing here, looking over the place, you can see what looks like some wildlife moving around down below, and see a herd of what appears to be like deer or some sort of quadrupedal creatures down, like off in the distance as little blips way down by the creek. And they kind of go over and drink a bit and then kind of bound off in a different direction.
Quick, does anybody have a bow?
I do. I'm not great at it, but we can see.
I have a throwing. I have a
I'll
small
take a
throwing
shot.
axe.
I think
Are
we're
they
on
more
the
than 300 feet away?
Yeah, they're like a day and a half travel away. Like they're
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I think
the
I
fuck?
can shoot that far.
like they're fucking far away. They're like, oh, look at that, like way off in the distance.
How the hell do we see it from there then?
Because you're way up in the mountains
boy.
and it's clear. You can like
We're
see
at a
down.
massive precipice.
Right.
Look, if I angle it just right, I think I could hit one.
I'd like you to make a roll, please, Tidge.
God.
Straight luck.
Oh my god.
You guys all
Nice.
see that Tidge holds like his little bow. He lets go and the arrow shoots and it just like flies and it flies and it flies. And it gets to that point where it's so far away you can't even like see it anymore. It just disappears from existence.
When I shot it, I had my tongue out and on my upper lip, and I had one eye squinted closed, just really focusing. If I shoot it at a 45-degree angle, that's got the most distance.
I shake my head,
And
I
go.
look at Edgar, and then I just start walking down.
And
the
I
path.
watched with such joyful anticipation.
I'm following him, following Caleb.
Okay, so you're taking the safe path.
Yep.
You guys get halfway down before the evening finally drops. Getting to about there. Do you guys do anything special this evening?
Same thing for me.
I
Same thing.
sleep under the stars, by the way. I don't use the tents. The tents are for them.
Sure.
Lucian,
like-
could you? Oh wait, never mind.
I'd pull up my sleeves, compare my arm to the constellations and whatnot.
Okay.
And I'll be switching out some spells after this long rest too.
Okay.
Could you fix the rest of my dice so that they show the number when I hover over them,
Oh.
please?
Yeah, that's happening to my dice too, I noticed.
The one that's on the table works, but
Oh. I don't know how to fix that, honestly. I
oh,
think
okay, that's all right. I'll just keep scrolling in. That one just kind of did it by itself anyway, so
there must be something strange going on there.
okay.
If you take new dice and then recolor them or whatever, it should work. I don't know if you want to go through with that, but yeah.
I won't worry about it for now, anyways.
Through the evening, Edgar, you go off and do your private writing here, and people kind of stick around the camp. And a second day of not finding any food goes by, so go ahead, everybody, remove one ration.
Am I distributing out rations, or do you guys have?
I have 10.
Have none.
All right, so I'll give you one.
I'll need one too.
Well,
That's
I mean,
fair.
I was going to purchase some, but then I don't know how much gold I have. So
It's all good. I got you covered. Gorilla's got everybody covered if they need it.
I had 4, so I'm good.
All right, so that's 3 rations gone. So, all right, we're good.
Okay. On the next day, you guys wake up and continue along the path, and this one doesn't seem to be much trouble. Orillo, you guide the group past a couple of different areas that they might get tripped up, some side paths that eventually lead to nothing and may result in like a deadly fall. And before long, you've actually made it out of the mountains and have gotten down towards the actual creek below. By the time that you get there, it's pretty late in the day, and you guys have been traveling downwards for a while. You could probably eke out another couple of hours of wandering if you wanted. You're very close towards this river of, like, white rapids going by. You're pretty close to the area where you had seen those, like, that herd of animals way back when.
Can I make an investigation check and see if there are any dead deer?
Any dead deer? Sure, make
Yeah.
an investigation check.
I'm
See what you
100% certain that I hit one. That would be a 24.
find. Looking around, you don't see a dead deer, unfortunately.
Oh,
And you don't
damn! I
see...
must not have gotten a very good hit on it. It's pretty sure it was good enough, but
You don't see your arrow either, but with your keen observation looking around here and there, you do see something odd. On one of the trees nearby here, there's a small splatter of blood, and something else. There's a spine stuck into the side of the tree.
a spine,
A spine.
like a creature's spine.
No,
cute?
not like an anatomical spine, like a javelin kind of.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I was thinking the same thing.
a big bloody spine
rip-
just attached to this. Let me just rip out your spinal cord.
That's where
Dig
my
into
mind went
this
too.
tree
So
here.
Hey, Tidge. What's
that's a
got your
curious
attention?
sight. Well, look at that tree over there. There's a bit of blood on it, and I mean, there's a javelin or something. There's some sort of spine sticking out of it. Can I go over and
We can
look
check
at-
this out.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go take a closer look.
Having lived in these mountains, Orillo, you only have to take a couple of steps towards it before you know what it is that you're looking at. And you know that this spine belongs to a hyprex beast, which is a type of creature that roams the wilderness in this realm and is a ravenous devourer of anything it can get its hands on. They travel in packs, and your people say that they're resistant to magic.
They're called. What are they called? Hybrix.
Yeah, I'll type it in here for you.
Okay. Hold on. Tidge. We don't want to. We shouldn't stick around here very long. That's from Hyperx beasts. They're a bunch of savage beasts that will devour anything that they come across. And they're not. Magic does not work on them, and they're not something you want to run into.
They sound
So
quite
I-
terrifying.
I say we get moving and get out of here, because that is not a good sign.
Sorry. Magic not working on them.
Like they're immune to magic?
Yes. Yep. No magic works on them. So
Shit. Okay. Yeah, let's
I
get
mean, I'm
moving.
not- yeah. Can you
We-
tell how long ago this one was here? How fresh does the blood look?
would I know illusion?
Ah.
I am an outlander.
Sure, you can go up and check it. Would you like to?
Yes.
Kaylik, you have the
Um,
observant
uh,
feat, right?
No, I have keen mind.
Keen mind. Why is my
Can I also look at the
passive
tracks and
perception for you 18?
Holy shit.
Is that wrong?
No,
I
that's for Annabelle.
No,
What?
that's-
Doesn't Annabelle have observant or alert? Sorry.
I have expertise.
yeah.
Perception.
Oh, is
I have
that
alert,
why?
yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I have
Oh, I'm getting
proficiency
confused with your
plus
initiative, my
plus
bad.
6.
Okay, so your passive perception is 16, and your passive investigation is what?
It would
17.
be investigation is plus 5.
That's fine.
Does proficiency not get added to that or no?
It does. It's just whatever you would get on a proficiency, or sorry, on a perception check, added to 10.
Okay, so perception would be, well, with proficiency plus 8. Wait,
Let's see.
no. It is plus 6. Plus 6 to perception, plus 5 to investigate. Sorry, I fucked that up.
Okay, no worries, I'll save that. So just because we're already there,
Double dipped.
as you step over to examine the thing, before anyone hears Orillo's diagnosis, Kaylik, your ear twitches for a brief moment, and you hear the sound of a bunch of leaves being crumpled underfoot nearby.
I'll just hold up my finger
Can I
and like motion for everyone to stop if I can.
Okay. You call out for everyone to stop with a hand motion instead of actually like yelling to them or anything. Do you guys pause?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll point my hand off to where I heard the noise, point to my ear, and then I'll start to I'll take out a rifle from my back.
A breeze begins to wander down through this valley in between the mountains, and the leaves all seem to rustle for a brief moment. And I'd like everyone to roll a perception check.
That is not a D20.
Alright, shit. Oh wow, Chitlin 2 is getting retired.
Already dice are being thrown out. Nat 1! Oh no. Okay.
So table talk. I'm 10 minutes home from home,
Woo!
so I can hop on the computer pretty quick here.
Cool.
Annie got a well, just a nat 4. I'm not sure what her mod is.
Okay. With that, let's see here. Tidge, you hear it too now. There is something moving towards that direction. And you can hear the thing as well, Kalik, starting to move in a different direction.
I would be slowly backing away from the sound.
If he... Okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's fine. I wasn't really going to say anything.
You were going to say, I don't know.
I don't know what that might be, but I don't think I want to find out.
If Kaylik told me not to move, I would not move.
I'm unsheathing my my longsword.
I'll point with my rifle, with my finger, and then to my rifle towards where I'm hearing the noise, so I can give my group an indication.
Okay.
For those who can't really hear it.
As you look down the sights, you see past a bush off in that direction what looks like something strange and foreign that doesn't match with the surrounding area. It's like a soft, like off-white color that moves behind the bush for a brief moment. If you wanted, you could fire at it.
I don't want to draw more attention to us, so I'll sit pretty.
Okay. Does everybody else wait?
Yep.
I'll have drawn my bow and knocked an arrow, but yeah.
With a quick dash, you all see what looks like some sort of form, colored somewhat of an off-white and a reddish tint, go darting off from this bush and running in a different direction. And you guys all see what Arillo has pointed out. And having lived in Skyfall, not coming from any of the other realms, you would all be familiar with Hyprex beasts and what they're rumored to look like, and undoubtedly you see one running for a brief moment in the opposite direction away from your group. Also, you would see what looks like a lone arrow that sticks out of its side.
Oh, I was about to say a word I'm not allowed to say.
The thing goes running off away from you guys and doesn't seem to have any intention of fighting. Do you guys just let it go?
Yeah, I'm not firing. My weapon's too loud.
Okay.
After seeing that, I think we should get it moving on, and just get out of here.
Lead the way.
Put some distance between us and that. So yeah, I'm gonna start moving towards, the way that we're going.
Okay. It's
Kind
late
of
in the
rushing a
evening,
little bit
and your
more.
group gets maybe about 2 more hours of travel in one direction before finally the time to sleep comes around. You guys do anything different? Same routine?
Just to be cautious, I think we should hide our camp a bit better tonight, and if we have fires, just keep them low so it's not very visible.
Is it
Just to be on
warm
the safe side.
tonight? Like, is it warm right now, or is it kind of cold tonight?
It is, actually. Your journey has seemingly been blessed, and you don't really need to use any of your cloaks or anything like that. The weather's been very temperate. Maybe it's just because it's, like the start of spring or something like that, but there's barely a nip in the air.
Aurilla, what attracts those things?
Table talk.
You would
What
know
attracts them?
life.
I wouldn't know.
Anything that can be eaten.
Anything with. Okay.
They're not
Anything
much
that they
for
can get.
carrion, but they will eat any living creature they can get their hands on.
Would we know if they're poisonous or not?
Aurilla, your people would not know this.
I'm not sure if they're poisonous, but if they can get their hands on us, they would most definitely eat us.
That's certainly
They-
a fate I'd like to
they-
avoid.
They eat anything they can get their hands on, unless it's already dead, and then, unless they're very desperate for food, then that's what they'll eat, but it's not.
Alright.
Yeah. So, can I clear, away, can I, brush away our tracks going back into the woods a little bit, just clearing our tracks a little bit, and then...
I'd say you could, but it'll considerably slow you guys down.
Will that do any good? I mean, I imagine they'd probably sniff us out anyways, won't they?
That's true, yes. Yes, we'll just seclude ourselves in, the heavy brush and kind of just hide away from anything that's in sight. Give ourselves the advantage of the night in the thicket.
Perhaps a two-man watch would be called for tonight.
I can stay up later. I can take on a few more shifts and watch.
Boy,
Do
this
you
is
not
quite
need to sleep?
I do, but I can go off of a little bit of rest. I am fine with watching out for these things. I am a very what's the
Would you say
alert
that you're rather
type of-
perceptive?
yes. I try and keep out and watch for anything that comes in through these mountains.
Well, I definitely have some unease, but I don't think that trying to drag ourselves through to get any further away is going to do us any good anyways. In fact, it will probably just make us easier pickings.
Yes. So,
Seems we don't have a choice but to disguise ourselves as best we can and hope and pray for the best.
Do you guys set up camp like normal?
I would say
Uh,
kind of
I
just
would- I would
seclude
say-
ourselves, but make
Probably
camp
best
small.
make it as quick to leave as possible.
Yes, we want to have a small camp.
Do any of the trees look like
Just about to ask that.
they could bear weight on a higher branch, like maybe
Yeah, there's
kind of like
plenty
a
of
hammock
trees like
thing
that.
in between a couple of the higher branches in the canopy?
Yeah, you think so.
What about if we took some of that rope and tied it off or something, make like a little bed type deal in the tree?
That is a really good idea.
Can these things climb?
Oh shit.
You do not think that these things can climb.
Alright, well that sounds like the best idea so far.
I don't believe they can climb, but
Can
Well,
gnomes
I'm not
climb?
entirely sure.
Gnomes can
I-
try to climb.
I can chuck him up in there into the tree. Just have one of you guys catch him if he isn't able to hold on to anything.
You would be surprised what a gnome can do.
I have faith.
Well, you're the first one I've met, so
Well, wasn't that a happy day for you? Bring a little joy in your campsite. Well, all this talk is great and all, but I think we best be getting up in those trees.
Make a survival check, please,
grand idea.
Gorillo, to set up the beds in the trees.
Come on, big money.
Let's go, big guy. I've got faith in you.
Nope.
It was misplaced.
Let's see who the lucky
Oh,
one is.
shit!
What did he roll?
You rolled a 2
Oh my god.
My rolls
with
are
a modifier
garbage.
of 1.
Oh wow, why couldn't I have that?
You set up the camp up in the actual trees themselves. It takes a little bit of additional time, but using the rope, the tent materials, and the bedrolls you have, you manage to get all of the beds up there, and then everybody goes to sleep. In the middle of the evening, seemingly at the same time, two branches give way, and the beds of both Edgar and you as well, Aurello, break as the two largest party members kind of fall from the tree here and smash into the ground. Both of you taking 3 points of damage as you land on the ground.
Is it bludgeoning damage?
Yes.
Can I reduce that by 3 with my heavy arm master?
No, you're asleep. Like you smash into the ground, barely awake.
What the fuck was that?
You guys all hear a loud crash, the sound of like metal and, two bodies slumping into the ground. It's the middle of the night, you guys can't see anything.
For fuck's sake!
Why the fuck do you sound so much lower than us?
Hey, who tied that off?
Tell you what, gnomes can hang out in trees. That was proven tonight. Goliaths are a little tougher.
Oh,
They're assholes. They're all assholes.
You chose to come with us.
I didn't choose to sleep in a goddamn tree.
There was ample
I
time for you to
affirmed
voice
it.
your discontent.
You climbed up there, didn't you?
well, we can always climb up into the tree and try and tie ourselves onto a branch. I don't know if
Stay
I
away
want to
from
go
our
back
beds.
into that.
Are you suggesting we actually go back up there?
No, let's not. Let's not do that.
Well, I can't see a shit, so I'm gonna go back to sleep.
I'll keep watch for the rest of the night.
Yeah, sorry to be a bother.
Yeah, it was a bit inconvenient. But
I'll,
are you okay?
I'll stoke the fire, ignoring his question, and I'll just pass out next to it.
Your sudden silence is very reassuring.
I'll keep watch the rest of the night.
I'm flipping him off.
I can't see anything.
Okay. Did the others sleep down on the ground tonight?
I'm sleeping on the ground now.
Okay.
I wouldn't have moved from my bed up top.
Alright.
Nope.
Stayed.
Sleeping throughout the night. Everybody wakes up fine, and I need a Constitution saving throw from the two that fell.
I'm at home now, so
We'll see you in tabletop soon.
computer. In a bit.
Nice, nice. Okay. Despite this, the two of you do manage to get a little bit of shut-eye and aren't exhausted the next day. The sun comes up and clouds roll in, and a somewhat gloomy appearance seems to take this valley from its almost like angelic and nice spring-like appearance into something a bit more somber as you guys get up. What do you guys want to do? Keep traveling along the river?
Whatever gets us furthest away from the watchtower.
Okay. Down the way along the river, you get to late afternoon until eventually emerging from the trees and rocks, seeing on your right what looks like the watchtower there up on what looks like the shore of the Sword Creek. On one side of it, there is a bridge that seems to go over the little creek, and a road actually goes up to this bridge, traveling over towards the north, and then south makes its way up to the front of the watchtower, and then continues south a little bit, peering off into a different direction. And you actually know, Aurello, that this is the place that you have to go. You have to travel in the same direction that that road was traveling south.
So we have to follow this road headed south here to make it to our destination.
If you stay in the wilderness, though, you can avoid the tower and eventually get to the road.
All right. We can stay in this forest here long enough. We can eventually just hide away from that tower and get onto the road. But this forest is pretty thick, but I think we can manage.
Heck!
What?
Did you just sneeze?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're confident that you can lead us through the woods and it'll keep us away from the tower, then I'd say that that's probably the way to go.
All right.
As long as you're better at leading us through the woods than you are at building beds in trees.
Don't worry. I don't sleep in. That was the first time I've ever slept in a tree, and it wasn't very pleasant.
Well, I'd say that 3 out of 5 ain't bad, so not bad for your first shot.
Oh yeah. Well, let's just get moving.
All right then.
And we will head off through the woods
Okay.
to the path.
While you're traveling through the woods, your group chances upon something. Further up ahead, as the wilderness is growing thin, leading up towards the road, you find on the ground what looks to be a corpse. And this corpse is decayed to the point where it is kind of like just fetid and rotting, with little pieces laying on the bone, and there's still bugs kind of roaming all over this thing. It's got a set of leather armor that it wears, though that too seems to have decayed, and a backpack hangs off of it as well. It looks like a human skeleton.
How far along in its decay do you think? Like how many days?
How good is the backpack? Because I need one.
The backpack, from your vantage point, a little further away, seems to be in fine condition. The body has
I'm
probably
taking
been
that shit.
decaying for days.
Right. It's pretty fresh. What
Doesn't-
any indication of death? Like, does there appear to be like spines in it, or?
Are you getting up close to it?
I'm taking the backpack.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Annie wants to get up close.
Getting close to the thing, indication of what did this person in is not readily available at first. Do you have proficiency in medicine?
Let's take a look.
Very quickly gonna go
I do
pee again. Like, fuck.
I don't.
Okay. You're not really sure. Looking at the bones and everything, they seem intact. You don't see like a portion of its face missing or anything like that. It's not really readily apparent what did this person in, but they've been dead laying here for many days. And the insects seem to have taken to his body very quickly. The backpack that you reach for here is, well, it smells like a rotting corpse. And
Good.
the straps seem to still be held on and everything. It feels soggy, as though it's like been covered with some sort of liquid or something in the last little while. But it's quite hefty, as though there's something in it that is giving the backpack weight.
Can I look inside the backpack?
Sure. Looking inside of the backpack, you see what looks like a whole bunch of broken glass.
Great, so it's unusable.
What have you got there?
Hey, it looks like a backpack full of broken glass. I don't know why you'd want to carry around broken glass, but
What did?
Perhaps it
Oh.
wasn't broken to begin with. Maybe
possibly
potions.
why. Oh my god, now I'm British. This is probably why it's all soggy.
You don't think it's soggy from the corpse? It's been rotting on it all day. Or for a few days, actually. Maybe it's a combination.
Probably
There's an idea.
both.
Here, can you hand it over real quick?
I hand the backpack to Kalik.
The backpack is loud and noisy once it's moved, as all the glass clinks about. You can see holes in the bottom where bits of glass have poked through, and sure enough, it's rather heavy. What do you want to do with it, Kalik?
Can I start to cast mending inside the backpack?
Oh, sure. It takes a brief moment, but by the time the spell finishes, you pull out what looks like a small potion bottle. Empty, however.
Yep. Looks like it was just a potion.
By your estimates, there are probably many in here, maybe a dozen.
I'll continue to cast it if we've got time, and we're just kind of looking around just to get some vials, and then I'll mend the backpack and hand it back over.
Okay.
I'd help. I can help you out with that actually. If you hand me one of those bottles,
All right.
and I can cast mending as well.
Sure.
Sooner or later, you manage to get 10 flasks that you can keep with you.
I'll hand the backpack with the flasks
Okay.
back over to Annie.
Perfect. Let me see if I can switch my shit here. Oh, is there no more broken glass in here?
Nope, they fixed it
Okay.
all up. Even the
I'd
backpack
like to-
has been fixed.
I'd like to. Does it still stink?
Yeah, like a corpse.
Awesome. Just what I wanted. Not even kidding.
Okay.
Anyways, so I'm gonna put my shit in there and sling it over my shoulder.
Okay. You take this horrible, corpsey backpack, and off the group goes. The evening eventually falls, and it does so as your group is making their way towards this little bit of road. This bit of road ends at a portion of wilderness, which then spreads upwards towards the mountain. And it's on this evening, as you guys cluster around the tents, that you have a strange dream, and you're visited by your celestial deity there, Tidge. In this dream, there we go. In this dream, your deity comes to speak with you, and he's normally a somewhat like quick sort. He doesn't speak too much to you. He usually delivers like a line or two of what he wants from you, and that's it. He's kind of transactional. And when he comes to speak to you this evening, he does something that he hasn't done before, which is to ask you, Tom Jack, how are you?
I'm doing alright, but to be honest, I'm a bit nervous. There's some strange creatures about that don't really bode well for us. They find us. The Hyprex beast. We're nearing the temple every day, but
Yes.
I don't know.
The Temple of Despair is close. Continue traveling south and do not waver on the path. It'll make itself clear. And above all else, do not travel towards where restless souls remain.
So we made the right choice coming through the wilderness instead of staying on the path.
It's blinding to look over towards the High Librarian, and as you do, you get a moment where it's almost like he's nodding towards you. Like you see the light kind of shift around, and then it fades, and you wake the next day. Everybody is getting up.
Well, everyone, I've got some good news. I've been visited by the librarian, and he tells me that, and by this time I would have definitely told you about. I'm like an open book, so you guys would all know about my pact.
Okay.
He tells me to stay on the path, and that we're going the right way, but we should definitely stay away from the tower, which we were going to do anyways. But he's a pretty to the point fella, so I was like, okay. But haste is definitely necessary, I'd say.
What kind of a librarian is he?
Oh, he is. Once I scroll a bit, he's the High Librarian. Have you ever heard of him?
Make a Arcana roll, please.
Oh, gladly. That wasn't. Do you want me to roll again?
I didn't see
I
it.
only rolled I rolled it, but it didn't go very far.
Oh, no, that's fine.
A couple. Okay. Arcana would be 22.
You have. You know that the High Librarian is a rogue angel, one that is still on the side of good, but is not tied to any god. There's quite a few entities like that. You don't know much about him, but his name says a little bit at least.
Rogue Angel. All right, I'll make a mental note and I'll nod my head.
Okay. Do you guys travel south?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Further along the way, you're on 2, 3. You're on your 4th day's journey. And go. Traveling a bit further south, you step into the wilderness once again, leaving this dirt path and going into the trees and the bushes. Orillo, you've never been quite by this point, having spent most of your time up in the Rocky Mountain. And you're about to get back to familiar territory when you come upon the foot of this mountain here, with all of its rocky passes and everything. And getting up towards them, you watch as an illusion dispels in front of your group. You guys all see this as you get towards the rock. What looks like a rock face of just like jagged rock that you would definitely have to go around seems to peel back. It shimmers for a moment, waving as though the wind was acting on it. And you see what looks like a stairwell that goes straight up the mountain, carved of old, cracked stone. That goes up, and it snakes left, then it snakes right, then left, then right, and then eventually up towards an open archway in the mountain itself.
Would I know if this archway has any connection to the temple?
You have no idea what the thing looks like.
Okay. Oh, okay. But I saw the staircase.
Yeah, everyone would see this. The rock kind of wavers for a second, and then as the illusion dispels, you see a long staircase going up.
Did you know that was there, Orillo?
You have
Going
never
back
seen
to
this
tabletop.
before.
I've never seen it before. Okay, that's what I thought.
Well,
I have not seen this before in my lifetime. Ever.
I'd say it's quite promising. I mean, whoa. Perhaps not, though. Why would somebody try and hide the staircase?
Not sure. I've never come across this before. Alright, if we want to check it out, we can. Or we can keep to our quest and keep moving.
Oh, jeez. Is this not the right way? Do we still have further to go to get to the temple?
I would
Or is
assume
this-
yes.
Orillo, given where you are, you've traveled straight south from the Red Watchman, so if this is not it, you would still have to travel in this direction anyway. You could go around it, or you could try the stairs.
We can go. We are headed in the right direction. We could either go up the stairs and check this out, or we could just go around it and keep heading south to our destination.
I don't know. It may
It is
fit the
up to
bill.
all of you.
What was that, Kalek?
I suppose it might fit the bill for a temple.
Sure seems that way. Not sure why it would be illusion, but if we have to go that way anyways, there's no sense
If there's
going
a
around.
temple out in the middle of nowhere like this, it's a bit odd in the first place.
Yes, I'd
I'm
say
not-
that's true. I don't know much about it other than its name and its rough location, so I suppose this is the best place to start.
I'll look over to Edgar and Edgar, any thoughts?
On whether or not we should go up the magical staircase or not. I don't know. I mean, if Rillo says we're near the temple, then it's as good as way as any. As long as we're going away from that tower full of ghosts, that's probably a step in the right direction.
And I should probably mention that that the librarian didn't quite say, stay away from the tower. He more said, stay away from wandering spirits. He also said, don't waver from the path, so you'll understand my reluctance. But this kind of seems like the path, but I have no idea of knowing if there's any wandering spirits up to the top of that.
Look, you're the one that's in some bizarre pact with a god. So, in my
Not quite a god, but that's okay.
Right, whatever. Usually it comes in the form of an oath where I come from, so if you're beholden to him, or it, or whatever it is, and it's telling you something, I would say probably follow that. And if this is taking us off that path, then let's not go exploring.
This seems like it feels like it's the right place to go. So if we have to
Everything
go
I'm
this way,
doing-
if we have to go this way anyways, I'd say that we take the staircase. What sense is there in walking around?
Look, everything I'm doing lately is based on a gut feeling, so yours is as good as mine.
What are stairs but a vertical path? Just made a little easier.
Okay there, monk. You can calm down with the
Oh,
expressions.
calm down, you love it.
Yeah, you can tell by my face, and I like point towards my face and make a circle motion like you can tell I love it a lot. So much.
I can see. I see through the facade, and I'll start heading up the stairs.
The gnome bounds away from the group and is the first one to step up onto the stairs.
So this is our I'm tracking the days now because I'm smart. We started on the 10th of spring, we slept 11th, and we slept through the 12th of spring.
It is
So
currently
it'd
the
be
14th.
That's what I've got too. Yeah, it's our
Mhm.
4th day of travel. I'm
Jesus
keeping like a
Christ.
diary,
Fuck
basically.
it. Session 1, I'm already all fucked up.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put a squiggle and a question mark from 12 to 14. Okay.
Okay. As you go traveling up, you get to the second flight, and everybody else is kind of going along. And while traveling up the steps, something strange happens. Tidge, you hear a voice that speaks, and it's ever so softly drifting by on the wind. And it says, "Pointless."
What do you mean?
You guys all see that Tidge kind of turns for a second and says, "What do you mean?" Just out of nowhere while you guys are walking without saying anything.
Tidge, are you alright there? Ah, excuse me. Tidge, are you alright there?
Oh no. Something I just heard. The whisper in the wind saying pointless. And I'll be honest, it's got me all mixed up now. I don't know if it's a wandering spirit or not. Shit. Hang on. Librarian, can you hear me? Will you respond at all?
As you call out, your patron does not come to you.
Shite. I thought that might work. He's a tricky one.
At that point, let's see here. Annabelle, you hear a voice on the wind too. It drifts by ever so softly, and in your left ear, you hear the words, "Demon child."
Is who's on my left?
You see Kalik right there, and he looks like he's watching Tidge, who's having a semi-breakdown up ahead.
Kalik, are you whispering in my ear? Cut it out. I hate that.
I'll just look at her and just cock my head a little bit, squint my eyes, really confused. And I'd look back to Tidge, trying to make sense of what's going on.
Right, so my concern now is that there's, well, one, my accent's all fucked up, but I'm mostly worried that there's some spirits around. Fuck, he's got me all screwed up.
You guys are not even halfway up the stairs, as your expedition leader seems to have lost some of his nerve. What do you guys want to do? You're all tightly packed here, and have probably another, maybe 10 minutes of going up the stairs.
How many more flights are there?
Quite a few.
Okay.
But
Alright,
it
I'll
is a
try-
lot better than going up mountain paths, which are very kind of like jagged and everything.
I'll try one more flight and see what happens at the next landing.
Sure. You guys follow by Tidge as he continues on?
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys keep going, and nothing seems to happen. The wind drifts by, just like normal, and you get to the next area and keep going. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, I'll keep going until something like that happens again.
A few minutes of uneventfulness go by, and you're getting pretty close towards the steps will end. You can't see it from your vantage point now, but you know that this leads up to like an archway further above. And as you're going along, Edgar, you hear a voice that drifts on the wind too. Apparently Tidge wasn't crazy, as you hear somebody whisper in your ear and says to you, "Disgrace."
I say nothing, and I'll just put a firm grip on my sword. I'll actually speak up. Now, just to confirm, we are going towards the temple and away from the tower, right, guys?
Yes?
I don't know. I'm just following you.
Looking
Yeah,
back,
I'm-
can we
I'm
see the
following
tower?
them.
Like,
You can, off in the
Off in the
distance.
yeah.
It stands there lonely with nothing else around it, just a little bridge over the creek.
Okay.
We're
And,
moving up.
Yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
I'll just grab my sword and that's it.
Okay. Eventually, you guys make it up to the top of the stairs, and there you see that this archway is actually a long hallway opening into the mountain itself. At the very top of it, you can see, scribbled in some language, some writing. And
I can read anything.
can you now?
Eyes of the Rune Keeper,
Gotcha.
as an eldritch invocation, means I can read all writing.
So, you, Kalik, and Edgar can all read this. Oh. Yeah. You, Kalik, and Edgar can read this, as in Celestial it says, the Temple of Despair.
Well, looks like we're in the right place.
I'd say so.
To Annabelle and Orillo, it's just a bunch of random writing in a script you don't understand.
What does it say then, all you little book people?
It says
we're
the
in the
Temple
right
of Despair.
Or that, whichever.
why do you think it got its name?
I suppose that's an apt way to approach the Temple of Despair.
Kalik,
Well,
as
we're
you
here.
look towards it, you can see that the darkened hallway there that leads into the Rocky Mountain itself, for a brief moment seems to stretch, almost like it's going further down. And as you blink, it looks like, once again, the same way it was a moment ago.
I'll just kind of like shake my head. Maybe like scrub my eyes a little bit. And look again. Probably think nothing of it. Just nerves.
You can see probably about 20 or 30 feet into this thing before the darkness is overwhelming, and there's no real idea of what's past that wall, that void.
I'll take
I'll,
out a hooded
sorry,
lantern.
Sure.
I'll stop the party and look around. Alright. Steel yourselves and your spirits. Temples like this are usually protected, and if it's called Temple of Despair, whatever's been whispering in our ears is only going to double its efforts as we get closer. Ignore what they say. Focus on each other. We'll get through this.
Alright. Hasn't said anything to me yet, but
This is where I need to
Yeah,
be,
likes
so
you.
I'd say. Did you pull out? So did you pull out your lantern?
I pulled out mine.
All right. Then I suppose we best head in. I mean, I have to, anyways.
I'll take lead and just start heading straight in. Like confident to chest up and grip on my sword.
Okay.
I'll have some renewed vigor, and I'll be following. I'll be pretty close.
I'll also use one of my divine senses that I have to see if I can sense any celestial, fiend, undead, consecrated, desecrated within 60 feet.
Sounds good. So here's a shitty drawing of the stairwell. Go ahead and place yourselves here at the opening. I'll be right back. We're going to go to a brief break, and you guys will step into the temple. Remember that spell that you're doing there, and tell me about it when I get back.
Sure.
Mine is so small compared to yours.
How much do these fur coats weigh?
I don't know.
I'll be right back.
Ah.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Probably a couple pounds, I'm assuming, but a stat.
So, are we supposed to put our sheets in here? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Well,
In
Our
the characters.
yeah, character sheets. In
Is that characters discussion?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I love Edgar's token.
So cool, yeah.
It's just a dope picture in general.
Yeah.
I think it's custom art for Dishonored 2, I think. That's where I got it from.
Is that like what Corvo's supposed to look like, or whatever his name is?
I think so. I think it's an older Corvo. I only found out after the fact, but it's just I started finding out on ArtStation. Like, I used to kind of try to drill things down by what I was looking for, but these artists sometimes they don't like label things super in depth. So I've just been searching for just portraits in general, just portraits, straight up fantasy portraits, and then going through. These guys are so fucking talented. I'm so jealous. Drawing is like, when I saw your sketch of Ava, I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna do that. Meanwhile, I probably could. It's just practice.
Yep.
Your sketch of Annabelle is pretty awesome too.
That's just my face, only blue, with some horns. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would Edgar have made it known that he's a paladin, or does he just look like a weathered fighter?
I look like a weathered fighter. Someone with like a really astute eye might be able to piece it together. Maybe the book, just mannerism, the way he handled the pilgrim, I guess. But yeah, I'm not making it super obvious. I mean,
I got a 10 in wisdom, so not me.
I don't understand how riding in a car all fucking day can make you so tired. It doesn't make any sense. You're literally doing nothing. You're sitting
You
there.
get hypnotized by the road. At least I do usually.
Oh, so irritating. My back is killing me. We left Connor's at like... What was it? Was it 12 hours ago, Connor? Holy shit. It was around 9. 8:45,
It's
9.
a little, yeah. More or less.
Ugh. And I just got home. Like 15 minutes ago.
That is rough.
Yeah, Steve, Mike, we didn't see you guys. We're expecting you to show up.
Yeah, what the
Yeah,
heck?
we tried, but we kind of got lost. We ended up in Cincinnati instead of Chicago. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Our GPS went on the fritz, so we just hung out there for a little bit, and then we went back.
Cincinnati's like on the way, kinda.
So maybe we just didn't go far enough.
Yeah, just keep
Yeah, that's
going.
probably it.
We were just disheartened and didn't look at the map hard enough.
Just keep going west. I hate Cincinnati.
I have never been west of Buffalo or south of Maryland.
Jesus, gotta get out more.
People keep telling me that. I think the furthest east I've been is Boston.
I visited more of the U.S. than I have of Canada, so.
Me too. I think I've only been to Quebec, I think.
That's where
City.
I am. So, oh, Quebec City.
Well, both, because I went to Park Safari in like 2nd grade.
Park fucking Safari. Aw, shit.
Auschwitz?
It's like Meowschwitz in here.
Alright. Are we good to go?
Yes, sir.
Well, I just want to share this video. It's easily one of the things that can make me laugh consistently all the time.
Do you ever have a dream like you like?
Have you
Alright,
ever
I'm
had
back.
a dream that you had you
Kid is so fucked.
you could do so you want him to do you so much
What's
you could do
happening?
anything?
Wow.
Have you ever had a dream like you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Can't say that I have, but
I love like he smiles at the end. He smiles at the end like nailed it.
Yeah. Got it!
It only took me 20 seconds this time.
Getting a 10 from the Russian judge.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have full-on Damien.
No! I'm not clicking on that one. Alright, we're good to go.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see.
That's funny.
There we go. You're standing at the mouth of this strange temple, and one of you has grabbed a lantern, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll hand it off to Arillo if he's willing to take it, just because he can hold it up a little bit higher.
Okay.
I will gladly take the torch. Or lamp.
Take the lantern in hand, and it casts a light into the expanse here, and the hallway seems to go far enough that it doesn't illuminate anything different. It's just a straight, square hallway. There's no markings on the walls, the floor is made of cobblestone, and the ceiling, too, looks more or less identical.
Oh, right, you wanted me to remind you that I was casting Divine Sense, right?
What's the range on that?
60 feet.
So, let's see. You can sense something further up ahead and sort of off to the side. It feels like undead. This place is certainly infested with something.
I'll kind of put my fist up and just whisper under my breath to the party behind me. Seems like we're dealing with undead.
Well, that's just great.
Annabelle, what are you thinking as you've gone, like, headlong into this dark tunnel ahead of everybody else?
Dude, I don't know where the fuck. I don't know where. Oh, okay, so. Oh! Nobody else has pictures, right? So I was trying. Okay, I didn't know what all this shit was. I didn't hover. I'm sorry. I was trying to do my.
Conjuring up the rainbow, and
Perfect.
we're going down this this little spooky thing going on right here.
All right. Well, now it makes more sense because I was confused. I'm sorry. I thought that this was the back
Gotcha.
of the end road here, and then
She just goes on and on.
Just skipping down the hallway.
Oh, okay, right. No, I'd probably be next to Kaylik, which one. I need to get these tokens drawn. This is confusing as fuck, dude. I don't think anything. I'm behind him.
Okay.
That was so painful.
I mean,
Nailed
maybe.
it. Fucking nailed it.
Have you ever
Had a dream like where you like.
I'm sorry.
She just smiles at the end, like, all right, we can go now.
Annie.
Woo! I can't stop giggling. I'm sorry.
That's kind of gonna give us away.
It's not the time right now.
To be honest, I was hoping that this might be more of the sacredly protected temple than the filled with beasts and monsters temple, but I suppose you
Are
get
you
what you pay
calling
for.
me a beast?
You're not in the temple yet, are you?
I kind of give like an ooh shit, and then I look forward.
Got a huge grin on my face for reference.
Beautiful.
So you guys can
So
see up to like Sauvage, up to like 4 squares away from who's it? Green's got it? No, yeah, you've got the lantern, so you can see up to like there-ish.
Okay.
Well, we're not going to discover much standing here, so suppose we cautiously head forward.
I'll start moving forward, long sword in one hand, shield in another. By the way, Aleutian, just for flavor purposes, I wanted to see if this is okay. I wanted to make my my holy symbol my signet ring from my noble house.
I thought you were gonna say you wanted to make your butt look good, and then to which I would have said. And he's probably looking at.
Have you ever had a dream like a? have you? Is that is that cool, Aleutian?
That's okay.
Okay, cool. I'll
But how
record-
does your butt look?
Yeah.
From right now, I kind of have this like tabard that's draping over it, so it's pretty hidden.
Unfortunately.
But it's like if you've ever seen the subreddit Bigger Than You Thought, like
It's bigger on the
a
inside.
badonk. It's a badonk, but it's just kind of hidden. It's like it's a spelunker's badonk. You know what I mean? It's just
Right.
Edgar steps
chiseled, but
forward
firm.
into the darkness, and Annabelle, your mind plays wildly with dreams of Badonkadonk. As you go further ahead here, Aurelio's the one with the lantern, and you find that you can only go so far before losing really sight of anything that's going on. Even the night sky comes accompanied with a little bit of passive light, but in here it's just pitch black. You can also smell something on the air, Edgar, as you come inside here, and it's kind of like it's similar to the smell of the undead and that sense that you get where you can feel that they're there, but it pervades this whole place. Like, it lingers on the walls. Like, there's a sense of death and decay on everything. I'm starting to think that the grid here is killing.
I toggled everything off, so it's fine now.
I kind of like the grid, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like the grid too.
Mm-hmm.
It makes things so much easier. Yeah, okay, so I'll get ready. I have a few spells up my sleeve for this kind of things. So knowing that, I'll be comfortable, make sure my armor's ready to go, and moving forward with the lantern, obviously, just on the edge of it.
Sure. Traveling further up ahead, you can see that there is an opening on the left-hand side, and you can feel from past its door the unmistakable feeling of undead from your divine sense. How long does that last, by the way?
I don't think it keeps going.
Oh, okay. So you would
yeah,
have
it's
sensed back here that there's definitely undead somewhere in here.
Yeah, so just to clarify, it's not a spell really. It's just a class feature, and I get 1 plus charisma mod per long rest. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The area up ahead that seems to bar entry here is made up of a stone door that seems to have a seam right at its center. It's blank otherwise. There's no indication as to what the room might be or what is past it.
I'll look at it and kind of wave the party forward, and I'll take defense up forward, because I know that these guys will probably want to investigate it, just judging by what I know from Tidge and Kalik so far.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll stay up and keep looking into the darkness, shield and sword just ready to go.
Okay.
Sure, I'll take a look at it.
Sure.
If there's anything to be inferred.
The door seems to be made of simple stone. 2 halves meet at the center, where a seam runs down them. There's nothing written above, or to the side, or on the door itself.
Can I see this door?
You can, ever so barely. The light from Aurelio's lantern is definitely fading and getting dim where you are right now, but you can see the outline of the door.
Is anybody gonna open the door? Or are you just gonna stand there and look at it all day?
I mean, there's the odds that the book that I'm looking for are in there are pretty slim, but I guess I shouldn't avoid any passage, really. Unless there's some reason we shouldn't go in. I'll make an attempt to open the door.
Sure. How do
There
you
you
want to
go.
attempt opening the door? Also, I need a perception check from you, please, Arillo.
Alright. Where'd I go? There it is.
I'll just put a hand on Tidge before he moves forward, and just mention they're in there, by the way.
Those are shit! Excuse me. Sorry, Twitch.
Arillo,
No.
you feel something strange. You're not sure what it is. Maybe it's just you spent your life out in the open air, and being here in a completely dark, like, forgotten temple is just playing with you, but something feels wrong. And the hair on the back of your neck kind of stands up for a second. In front of you, Tidge, you step over towards the door. And what do you want to do?
Oops. Where? They're the undead. They're in there. That's what you're. Do you know? Can you tell how many?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
I don't know how any of this shit works. All I know is what I can do.
No, I'm not trying to be snippy. I'm just.
No,
telling
I know.
you it
I'm
doesn't
just
work
kidding.
That way.
All right.
But if you do get it open, tell me. I'll take point. Hey, big guy.
Yes.
I kind of just let out a chuckle, because he reminds me of Lurch. I don't know if the Adams family would be a thing in your episode too, but look, if they get the door open, I need you to make sure that we don't get hit from further up on the bridge. All right. So let me take point. If I need help, I'll call you over. But last thing we want is a swarm to hit us from the rear.
Alright. I will watch our backs.
And I don't know if you've ever fought these things before, but destroy the head, you should be good to go. And even then, sometimes it doesn't help. Usually fire's the best way. So I don't know what you got in that kit of yours, but best of luck.
Not any fire, but I can definitely destroy some heads.
So I'll kind of go here and put my back to the wall, and I'll
Okay.
face this way, and I'll just wait for someone to open the door.
How do you open the door there, Tidge?
I will try feebly to pry it open, I guess.
The two pieces of stone are incredibly large, and you think that even your Goliath friend back there would have trouble prying them apart. As you try and exact some force on the door, it does not move at all. The stone is cold on your hands and unmoving.
Can I look around and see if there are any, secret ways to open the door?
Sure, make an investigation check.
Push buttons.
Well,
Nice, so
he's after seeing him investigate this for a moment. Can I step forward, place my hand on the door, and start to cast Identify?
Sure.
That would be a 12.
He can continue doing whatever he's doing.
Are you ritual casting or just touching it?
Ritual.
Okay.
I might interrupt it in a bit. We'll see.
Sure. Nothing seems to happen with the door there, unfortunately, and looking around, Tidge, you see no clues as to what might open the thing. Kalik steps over next to you, and while Edgar seems to be on guard, Kalik begins to start ritual casting a spell.
Well, I'm a bit fresh out of ideas now. As if there's no secret ways to open it, that I can find. And obviously I don't think we can pry this open.
Look, it's a temple, right? And your pact guy told you to come here, and the front gate's written in Celestial, right? I'm thinking, instead of trying to use your magic, maybe try to open it with your faith.
A wind blows in down through the hallway, and as it does so, it's a very violent gust that causes all of your group's clothing and backpacks and all to rustle around by the breeze. As it does so, you hear a voice that whispers in your ear, Arillo, and it says, "Trapped."
Well, I just heard a whisper and it said trapped. So this is gonna be fun.
By the time
I-
that Arillo is finishing his last word, all of you hear from the entrance the sound of rock collapsing and watch as large boulders begin to roll by along the entrance. One of them
Alright, so that's
smashes
just
forward
great.
and crushes the area here and takes up about half of the space and blocks out most of the sun. Another piece falls down and blocks out another portion, and then another one, till there's nothing that you can see, not a single crack of light.
Give me just a second.
The
Arillo,
rumbling
could you point
continues for a bit and then stops a minute later.
Could you point that light towards the entrance, or at least kind of halfway so we can see it?
Yep.
Keep an eye on me if
Hey,
you would. I'm gonna go.
All right.
Whoa! Are there any like pebbles or anything on the ground?
Yeah, there's little small pebbles here and there.
All right. Could I grab one and hook it at the door, at the rocks?
You throw the thing out, and in the dim light of Arillo's lantern, you watch the pebble bounce against one of the boulders and fall harmlessly to the floor.
So much for that. Thought maybe there might be an illusion about.
I'll light a torch, and I'll hand it off to someone, whoever's willing to take it.
I'll take it. Well, while we're trying to figure out what to do with this, perhaps we should at least take a peek down and see what's at the end of that intersection.
All right, big guy, with me.
Yep.
With the torch in hand, Edgar, you see where this intersection heads off to. The other one seems to break into another T intersection, being somewhere in this direction. Meanwhile, the other one seems to cap off. There's an incredibly large set of double doors. Along the wall, there's no space for sconces, no torches laying around, nothing. It's blank. On a temple, you'd expect to see maybe markings or murals. It's just rock hallway. It's also worth noting that there's a pattern on the double door at the end that looks like a large skull.
On this side?
This side.
Oh, on the doors, there's a large skull. Okay.
What?
Well,
What do you guys see?
look, don't worry about us. Just focus on the door, man.
All right.
I'll kind of gesture to Arillo to come with me.
All right.
Alright.
I will follow along.
Come on. Look, we're not. If we get into a jam, we're gonna just head back. All right. Let's not get stuck.
Yeah. It's a good call.
The skull in front of you is massive. Its mural on the door is three-dimensional, so that the thing juts out, and its head looks to be large enough that it would easily belong on a giant, not a regular human. It does, however, sit at about 6 feet off of the ground here. The seam of the door, like the other one, runs straight through the center and kind of bisects the skull, breaking it into two if the door were to open. But it does not.
Is there any writing on the arch of the door?
You see
If
no
I bring
writing.
up a torch to it?
Holding the torch around, though, you do see something else. There's something peculiar about the skull, which is off.
Hmm.
Can I investigate that?
Yeah, how tall are you?
6'2".
Leaning forward and getting closer to the thing, you see that the eye sockets of this skull actually have geometrical shapes in them. you see what looks like a triangle shape that's kind of placed at the back like a socket, and you also see a square one in the right eye.
I look at Arillo and grin. Fucking puzzles.
Yeah, I'm not much of a puzzle man or puzzle guy myself.
I tap him on the shoulder. I figured as much. Alright, well, let's go back and see what the geniuses found.
Yeah, maybe they can look into this.
Back at the other area, Kalik, you finished your spell. And with this identify
Edgar.
spell... What's that?
Edgar, you called him
No.
Carrick.
No, Kalik.
said
No, he said
Kalik.
Oh, Kalik. Oh, okay, sorry.
Kalik, you reach out and touch the door, and you can tell that the door is indeed magical. And it's not quite like reading a magical item, where you can get maybe like its name or how it functions, but you can tell some things about the door. You can tell that it has a certain condition that needs to be met in order to open, and it seems to only open for people that are known as priests of despair.
Ah. Well, I'll finish the ritual cast. I'll snap out of whatever funk I was in, and I'll look to the others and I'll say, right, we're not getting through this door. So it's only for priests of despair. I don't
Oh,
think
do we know
we-
any priests of despair?
Ugh. No.
I haven't met one in my travels. All right, well, perhaps we'll come back to this one. Maybe we'll find something else out about him deeper in.
Are you guys... Have you tried looking away from the door? I mean, we found a puzzle up ahead to the left. And any asshole willing to put puzzles in this temple means that there's some hidden shit around. I'm assuming.
Are you sure it's not a tomb?
Well, it says Temple of Despair.
I'd be pretty. I'd be pretty sad if it was a tomb instead.
Right. Well, given the
It's
amount
pretty
of
despairing.
it's kind of a tomb already, I guess. Look, guys, just if you can, me and Arillo here maybe don't have the keenest eyes, but scope it out, and we'll try to be as thorough as we can. We'll go at the next juncture and see what's going on there.
I used to have keen eyes until that bitch stole it from me.
Stole your eyes?
Dark vision.
You know what?
I made a
it's
joke.
okay.
I made a joke. Never mind. It was terrible. It was a terrible joke.
I thought it was pretty good.
Don't worry, I understood.
Have you ever dreamed?
Have you ever?
I'll just kind of walk away. And I'll with the torch. Maybe Aurora will follow me. Maybe you won't.
Sure.
And I'll see if they can do whatever the fuck they want, really. But I'll be moving.
As you start to step away from the group here, Edgar, people haven't quite followed you yet, and the torch is in hand when you see something play out in front of you. You hear the sound of crossbow bolts flying from one end of the hall to the other, and then hear a scream as somebody gurgles for a moment. It's like there's blood caught in their throat, and you watch what looks like a bunch of very quick-moving lights travel in front of you from one end of the hall to the other, and a spectral humanoid kind of stepping forward, being struck by these, and falling to the ground. This person seems to be like rolling around, and then turns towards you and holds out like a hand in your direction, and you can see it looks like there's a bolt through his neck.
I'll take a knee, and without touching him, I'll make the hand symbol of Metri. What would that look like?
Hand symbol of Metri.
Would there be like a greeting of Metri or something like that?
No, I would say there's probably nothing for hand symbols.
Okay. There's no like Bloods or Crips.
No.
So in that case, I'll just look and try to have the kindest face I can.
His hand
so-
is moving, like trying to crane as hard as it can over towards you. Like, it's trying to reach for you.
I'm making sure that it can't. I'm staying out of its reach.
Oh,
For sure.
okay.
Yeah.
As he leans closer towards you, do you pull back?
Yes.
As you do so, you see that his free hand reaches up and like holds onto the bolt which goes through his neck, and you hear it, and he just fades from existence.
I'll whisper a prayer to him. Or just out loud, actually. Just, may Metri have pity and remorse for your spirit.
As you crest around the corner, Orillo, you see Edgar kneeling there, muttering to himself.
I'll walk up to him, place my hand on his shoulder, and ask if he's doing all right.
I'll kind of flinch when he does that and then look up. Yeah, just, slowly losing my mind. Big deal.
Sorry. We can.
Tired there, Arillo?
Yeah, just a little.
Well, yeah, you might see some shit going on in the hallway. Best not to touch anything, alright?
All right.
I'll be following Edgar's
Yeah.
lead.
Sure.
I'll have given up on the door as well.
Okay.
And
As you continue forward, Edgar, you notice something. The light of your torch casts on a sign. It's more celestial that's been carved into the wall. And you see that off in this distance, there's an arrow that points there, and in celestial it writes the vault. In the opposite direction, it says the inner sanct.
Do we want to go to the vault, or do we want to go deeper into the sanctum, guys?
well, if I was going to keep a sacred book somewhere, I'd probably keep it in the vault. So
That's
that one
just
speaks the loudest to me.
way too easy, but I have to agree.
Yeah.
There's been a spirit that showed up. I think whatever died in here, there's some kind of after image going on, and I think they keep reliving their deaths. Try not to touch them if you don't have to, alright?
You said you saw a spirit up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I
So, what about the door on the other side of the room, of the hall here?
It requires, I haven't tried opening it, to be honest with you, but just judging from what's going on in the eyes, might be a bit too high for you. You might have to, hop onto a Rillo's shoulder. It seems like it takes some kind of insert to open, but you can go ahead and try it if you want.
I'd at least like to take a look at it.
Again, you're gonna
Mean-
need a step stool or something.
That's fine. If Aurilla wouldn't mind coming with me.
No. Yeah. I'll be here. Anywhere I'm needed.
I'd be remiss if I didn't avoid, I may be taking it a bit too literally, but like I said, the librarian's pretty matter of fact, and if you're saying there's a spirit up there, then I'd like to explore all the other options first before I start heading right towards them.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So if you'll indulge me, and it seems like you will, then I'll start heading off down there.
Okay. As you head off, Aurilla goes with you, and in the dim light with Edgar staying
stand
there,
back.
you can see the incredibly large skull. And to you, being a gnome, this thing is massive.
If you wouldn't mind giving me a boost there, pal.
Yep.
You
We'll
hold
lift him
him
up.
and raise him up, and there, faced with the thing, you can see what it was that Edgar was talking about. In one eye socket, there does seem to be an indent, which would easily fit a perfectly square object. In the other eye, a square one.
Okay.
A triangle one?
Yes, and one's a triangle and one's a square.
What do you make of this, Tidge?
Hold on while I take some notes.
All right.
Is there anything? Could you put me down for just a second?
Yep.
Is there anything lying down on the floor
I'll shine
around the
lantern down
base
to
of the door?
You
Or in
don't
the
see
general
anything,
area?
No, this place is
Right.
remarkably clean.
Well,
Like abnormally clean?
Yeah, kind of. There isn't even really much for dust.
Mm.
well, there's not a whole lot that I can do. So, I don't have anything that I can kind of just like jam in there. I don't think, anyways. So, like I said, I guess I'm just taking this a little too literally. The whole spirit thing, but yeah, I guess we best head back. I'll keep in mind, take a mental note of it though. Keep an eye out, if you would, keep an eye out for anything you might think or you think might fit in there,
All right. I'll keep my eyes peeled.
and I'll do the same. Now, is it a triangle or a pyramid?
More like a pyramid.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. All right, and with that, I will rejoin the group.
Okay.
I will too. I'll go back to the front with Edgar.
Edgar seems to be watching at the intersection there, and you guys get back to him. 2 tieflings are in tow as well.
Couldn't open.
Mhm.
No, there may be something deeper in, but thanks for indulging me anyways.
No problem. Look, not exactly my forte. Does anyone want to? Sounds kind of corny, but check for traps. The specter that I saw got shot by a bolt in the throat. Could have been another person, I guess,
How-
in life. Sorry.
Did you see how tall that that person may have been? If it was a human. Do you see what I'm getting at?
A human-shaped specter.
All right. Yes.
What would I have? What would I remember?
Yeah,
Person?
it definitely was about your height.
Yeah, human. Pretty tall, actually, about my height.
All right. Well, then I think that I'm probably the best person for the job here. Which way did the arrows come from?
You see Edgar points to one of the walls.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, was the specter coming this way? Was he running down this way and then fell in front of me? Was he running this way?
No,
and
he
fell
ran
in front-
this way.
Oh, okay.
And then he fell about here.
Oh,
And the bolt in his neck, like, was it from behind? Was it from here?
From the side, it came from over here.
right.
So I'll point to it then.
Okay.
Make an investigation check, Arillo.
You got it.
Arillo or
Or sorry,
Or,
Tidge?
Tidge.
Tidge.
It's cool.
Okay.
I knew what you
Can
meant.
I also take a look around?
Sure. Yeah, you can make one
Not
too.
great. That would be an 8.
You don't see anything.
23.
And you don't see anything either. There's no markings, nothing that betrays a small hole where darts could fly out or anything like that. Not even a raised stone in the floor.
I don't see anything, do you?
Not a thing.
I don't either.
I didn't even know you were looking.
I was
But I'm
not.
glad you don't see a thing. Seems like this passage is safe right here.
Do you want to
But
step
it
forward?
would... Sure, gingerly.
You passed the point, Edgar, where you had seen somebody get shot down moments ago. Tidge continues going and is fine.
Now, this may be silly, but you may want to get low. Like, we didn't see anything, but perhaps I'm not tall enough to trigger something that may be there.
Quick question for you, Lucian. When it comes to crossbow bolts, does my shield stop it outright, or
I'd
Like,
say
let's
if
say
you
if
had
I were-
preemptively held it in front of a trap, yeah, for sure.
Okay, perfect. Well, in that case, I'll bring it up to my head, kind of like, as if I'm like taking a phone call to my ear. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I have the shield around my head and then down to like my mid torso, and I'll just walk forward.
Sure. You eventually end up in the hallway and past that point with no interruption, no trap triggers, nothing. And when you're there, your lantern casts light further down, showing that this hall seems to go for a considerable length. And that this one actually seems to end over here. Stairwell that curves in this direction. The sanctum seems to go down. This is a downward stairwell.
All right. You said vault, right?
Yes, if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably locked, but it's worth a shot anyways.
Okie dokie.
I'll follow right along.
And I'm moving at a third of my normal speed, and I'm really just scanning the ground. Like, basically, before every step, I'm just kind of doing a 360 scan.
Could-
Wall,
could I just-
ceiling, wall.
Check for traps on the way down.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Would my roll from before stand then?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want me to make another one?
Yep, no, it would stand.
Okay, cool. Then, well, not cool for us, but whatever. I don't know that.
So you guys
Edgar seems to know what he's doing and holding up a shield. I'll follow his lead, put up my shield, and like follow behind him.
All right, I'll yield.
Oh, I would have put it down after crossing here, but yeah, I get what you mean.
I'll still hold it.
Okay. In this direction, the hallway extends for a while. And who is going to be in front as you guys are going towards here?
If nobody wants to take the front, I will.
I'll be pretty close, anyways. Not right. Run.
Here, I'll move up. Okay, you can stand on top.
Oops.
Going in front there, this area seems to spread out for a little bit and eventually ends with a set of double doors as well. This one, though, is a little bit different, and for the first time, instead of seeing just the plain walls and plain doors, there's a set of statues on the side of this door. The pedestals for which come out to about here. And both of the statues look like a set of angels that you can see. One of them holds in its hand a blade, a single short sword pointed outwards, and the other one holds in its hand what looks like a chest. You can see it dimly in the light of your torch from way back here, and from the lantern that Edgar has as you kind of like make a few steps in that direction.
Would they mean anything to me? Or I'd probably have to get closer.
I would say no. They look like generic depictions of angels, most certainly heavenly, but they don't have any signs that depict them as being part of a particular religion or anything like that.
I'll walk up towards them a bit more.
As you approach, you hear something. It's like the sound of breathing as you get closer, like a... And it becomes louder with every step that you make. As you get closer towards it, it's almost like the door is an entity that's breathing loudly in the hall. And as you get closer towards it, you can hear the breath becoming more and more intense. All of you hear this as you get closer.
Is it just me, or is that door breathing?
Wouldn't be the weirdest thing happening in here so far, so.
I think a door breathing is pretty weird.
Weirder than a specter getting hit by a trap that no longer exists.
I think everything about this place is pretty weird.
There's no dust.
That's exceptionally weird.
I actually looked down first time noticing that. Huh. That is weird.
Is this your definition of an adventure? I don't like it.
Do you have a
Better than-
retort, Annabelle?
Caleb, we haven't even fought anything yet. What are you talking about?
I'm not comfortable being trapped in here. Get a move on.
It should feel like home, Caleb. You're trapped there all the time.
Shh.
The
I
breathing
love that.
continues while you're here in the hallway. It seems almost more intense as you grow closer towards the doorway.
Can I take a look? I'd like to take a look at the. Is this the one with the chest?
Yes, and as you get closer towards it, the breathing changes and suddenly disappears in a... And the whole appearance of the statue seems to melt away, and you watch as it, like, its facade peels into nothing as dust and sand seems to drip from it, and the chest seems to disappear, and instead you see what looks like a child being held there, and the angelic symbol seems to pull away, and instead of an angel, you see like a spined demon holding the thing. And you see from the other side as well that statue melts into like nothingness as well, and the facade of an angel with a sword is replaced by what looks like a demon holding a whip in its hands.
With that, I tried to back up.
Cool,
Possible.
cool.
That's a bit fucked up. Did you see that?
Did we all see that?
Yes.
Temple of Despair. Sounds pretty...
To be honest, I probably should have put together that there might not be any angels hanging about in the Temple of Despair.
And with that, I think we will end the session.
Oh.
So we're all trapped in the Temple of Despair.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yay.
It's a fun thing to be congratulated about. Trapped inside of a temple.
Well, we haven't quite TPK'd yet.
That's true. We didn't
That's right,
TPK on our first session. That's just the beginning
Jason,
of
how
our
to get
session.
the silver lining. Thank you, sir.
It
The
might
door
have
did
already
sigh with
happened.
relief as we got closer, though.
Well, that was just that culminated into an orgasm. I'm fairly certain. 'Cause the melting away afterwards, exactly. And
The
then
door
like,
creams its pants, everything becomes evil. This is fine,
and you
guys.
see like a puff of smoke from a cigarette off in the distance.
Yeah, exactly.
It rolls through the cracks of the door.
In Celestial, it's like, was that as good for you as it was for me? Perfect. Well, congratulations on making it over here successfully. There were multiple moments where you could have come into extreme danger on the way, but you avoided that, and you're all still alive. So, no group has shown themselves to be the new Monday quite yet.
That's all.
Oh, it will happen.
My worst nightmare. Please.
Is to die over and over. Never ending.
It's like pooping back and forth forever.
Oh,
What?
Oh.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Cards
play-
Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Thanks to all the players. I think you guys did great. To the audience, it's great to have you. Also, thanks for all the subs and the what are the fucking triangle things or whatever people are throwing at me?
biddies.
The biddies. Thank you for the biddies. Wait, no, did you say titties or biddies?
Biddies.
Okay, alright.
Tiggle
I got that
biddies.
right. The tiggle biddies. And to all the patrons, without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. Thank you so much. We're going to be doing the last session of the week tomorrow, so tune in for that. The biddies are Twitch tips, says C. We'll see you guys then. Then there's a week off, so don't tune in for those, but we'll catch you again soon. Adios.
Bye.
Big old biddies.
See
Bye.
ya.
Whew.
Just tiptoeing along.
Tippy toe, tippy toe, tippy